Welcome to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz on AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. All things diesel for over 26 years. Now, here are your hosts, Peter and CJ.
Welcome in, everybody. It is a beautiful, no, okay, not really, misty, sort of foggish, kind of mild, it's good. It's not cold. That's good. So let's look for our, the good things that are happening out there. Not cold. That's one. It is not raining a lot. That's good. Like a little, maybe. So that's good. Rained a bunch last night, in case you were wondering, have we had rain in 3 days? No, apparently. No, the answer is yes. Yes, we have. Welcome in, everybody. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. I am Peter. He is CJ.
Hey, everybody.
And amid a big yawn is our good friend.
Oh, yeah.
You sleepy? He's sleepy. He's the he's the meatless mamba. Apparently, he does sleep, but maybe not enough. Maybe you gotta get some sleep, man. You know what'll put you right out is a little chocolate. Just you'd be good to go.
Nothing pisses me to sleep like a big old meat-filled meal.
A meat fest, yeah.
Yes,
I agree. Yeah.
That's it. Get that tryptophan going.
Meat sluggish meat, logy sort of meatish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the meat sweats come in a little bit. You gotta watch out for that. That'll get you.
Just a meat coma.
Woo! Anyway, he doesn't know anything about that.
No.
He doesn't do that stuff.
Is there a vegetable that gets you like that? Potatoes. Potatoes will do it.
You okay with starches?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He can't eat taters.
Okay. You can get them loaded, just not with the bacon.
You don't like Dion Waiter.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is none other than the Meatless Mamba himself, Zach Boyd. What up, Zach?
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing?
Oh, you are really sleepy today.
He stayed up late. You watched the NASCAR thing last night.
I did.
That's why.
I did.
Jeez, Louise. Daytona 500. Ryan Newman's okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Seems like he's going to be all right. That was a little nerve-wracking last night. Oh, boy. What a wreck.
What were you thinking about when that wreck popped off, Zach?
Like what happened to Dan Weldon and Justin Wilson?
Justin Wilson? The Cajun chef?
No, the race car driver.
Okay.
Yeah, that was legit. Like my thoughts, cause I've seen a lot of NASCAR races, and and I tweeted it out yesterday that you want the car to do tumble rolls to slow down because it's a steel cage that the drivers are in, and so the safety of it is. Once you start rolling, like the driver can feel the impact of the roll, and he knows that okay, I'm rolling in this one direction. When the car is sliding, like either on the side or on top of the hood, and it's not rolling, then you start to get concerned because then that's when the sparks comes up off the track on the car, and then you're not sure if you're gonna have any leakage of fuel that was coming out, and. When I started sawing like the fuel leaking out of the car, it was like, oh, like somebody need to put this fire out as soon as possible. Thankfully, the safety people was there. So,
You just making that up? Was that?
No, that's legit.
Is that legit?
That's legit.
You gonna tell him it's not? Do you know enough to tell him no?
I don't know.
It makes sense to me. Did the car catch fire?
Yeah, it was a rough deal, man.
Yeah, like
scary.
The back end of the car, but like I said, like I'm just glad he was able to get out of the car. That was like my biggest concern because I've already seen 2 drivers not able to get out of the car in live races, and it puts things. Well, for me, it kind of puts things into perspective that any moment can happen.
Mm-hmm. Any moment can happen. You're exactly right about
usually,
that.
Usually, the moments do happen.
Oftentimes, the moments do happen. Not always, but sometimes those moments do happen. And you're right about that. So it's That's our resident NASCAR expert as well as our producer.
Who won?
Denny Hamlin.
Okay.
He's a FedEx
Come on,
sponsor.
dude.
My fault.
Two-time winner.
Okay.
First two-time winner since some of the other guy that won twice in a row.
First two-time winner since who?
I'm not sure.
Exactly.
Okay.
See, no one knows, but the last time it happened, it's the first time since the last time, and that's the
Okay.
important thing right there. So don't worry about anything else.
All right.
What else you need to know? I know all about this stuff.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd Danica do?
She watched.
Oh,
She did great.
okay.
Just like a lot of us did.
Yeah, she was sitting on the couch.
Oh, she is retired.
And
Okay.
by a lot of us, I mean a
Zach,
lot of you.
Did the
But
family
her-
watch?
She's not with Is she still with Ricky Stenhouse Jr.?
She's done.
No, she's with
retired.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. That's right.
Oh, okay.
I thought he was with Olivia Munn, but no, they
No, that ended
that ended poorly, right?
2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
No.
Okay. What's she doing now?
Olivia Munn?
Yeah, what's she up to? Who's she with?
That I don't know.
I guess I could look that up, but I don't really feel like it. All right. So today on the show, in addition to our celebrity gossip that we're getting into,
The hot goss.
when are we doing the hot goss segment?
We need to.
You got to give me what's going on
It can't be me.
you got to do it. Come on. I don't know the hot goss. You know the hot goss. You're connected.
Not that connected. I don't know why you think that.
Get connected and then
Okay.
help me out here.
All right, I got you.
Okay. So coming up today, Jason Munz covers the Tigers for the Commercial Appeal. Money Munzel is going to join us at 8 o'clock to talk about the ups and downs of an unpredictable Tiger campaign. Of course, the Tigers in desperate need of a win should be able to get it tomorrow night at FedEx Forum against East Carolina. Then 9 o'clock, we are cranking it up to 11 when Omari Sankofa joins us. Zach has been warned to turn things down a little bit because Omari's going to bring that thunder as only he can. So that'll be 9 o'clock. We'll start to get set for the final third of the NBA season. I mean, I don't know. The All-Star break is well after halfway through, but it's kind of a stopping point, so it becomes like a halfway. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
We got all that still to come. Break it down. And Omari was up in Chicago for All-Star festivities, so we'll get his take on all of that. If you want to get in touch with us, you can. A number of different ways to do that here in the Family Leisure Studios. Number one, the First Bank text line, which is
67129.
And what do they have to do first if they've never texted us before?
You have to text 56 join to 67129.
Does it matter if it's capitalized or anything?
No.
Okay. But they have to do it, right?
You must do it.
You must. It is not optional.
Right.
It is mandatory for your first time. Once you do it once, then you're good. You're locked and loaded. You don't have to do it anymore. Save us as a contact. What if they want to call up and talk to you, Zach?
They can call me at 901-360-8255. No, that is not my phone number. That is the First Bank phone line.
What if they want to call you personally, Zach?
Yeah, that's not happening.
Well, all right then. Jeez. All right, Mr. Antisocial over here. You want to talk to people? That's fine. Just give them a few digits. You don't have to give them all of them. And if they can guess the rest of them, then they can.
0.
There's a 0. Okay. I think there's a 2 in there also. Is what I'm going to tell people. I believe there's a 2. So that'll get you started right there. The other 5 digits you'll have to figure out for yourself. It is 901, so you got those. We'll give you that. You want to throw anything else in there?
No.
Okay. You want to give your cell phone number out while we're doing this?
No.
Okay. Just letting folks know. If you want to, jump right in. That's how you get in touch with us. We would love to hear from you here in the Family Leisure Studios. Indeed, this is the Hour of Power brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors, mid-southpower.com. Go see them. Terrific folks at Mid-South Power. They can help you get your diesel engine squared away. Whatever the diesel situation that you need taken care of is, they can take care of you. Big, medium, small, marine, agriculture, tractors, whatever it is, they can hook you up, get your engine fixed, get your engine taken care of, get it serviced. It's all there for you. They are the diesel specialists, mid-southpower.com, Mid-South Power Distributors, doing this for 26 years. They bring you this hour of the program. All right, so As I mentioned, we'll talk a whole bunch of hoops today, as you would imagine. Also, last night, as Zach alluded to, Denny Hamlin won the Daytona 500, second straight, third overall, but it was sort of marred by the injuries and the frightening situation involving Ryan Newman, who remains in the hospital in serious condition following the Daytona 500 and that crash. The conditions not life-threatening, and they were thought initially perhaps to be life-threatening. We have seen already, Dale Earnhardt pass away in a late race accident there, and it has happened before. So it's a scary deal. There have been a lot of innovative safety moves and some changes made since then. But anytime you're in a car going 200 and some odd miles an hour and you wreck, the bad things are going to happen. That's it's not good. There's really no way to make it fully safe. And you saw that. It was a scary, scary deal. On top of that, we had another last night. Have you seen I have, one of my good friends is a North Carolina fan. And I feel badly for North Carolina fans this year.
Oh, that's mighty compassionate of you, good sir.
Isn't it?
You're better than I am.
This is now within the last 2 weeks or so, their third loss. Notre Dame, it's a late 3 to win by 1 point. Third loss in heartbreaking, ridiculous fashion. Mm-hmm. Did it to Virginia. Did it to Duke in that crazy free throw thing, whatever that situation was with Trey Jones. This has just been a disastrous year for North Carolina. I mean, disastrous in every way. And Cole Anthony is back, by the way, and playing, I would say, okay. He's all right. He was pretty good last night. 23-6.
I mean, listen, this I feel bad. I can't feel bad for a program with the history that North Carolina has and the history of winning that they have. Everybody, it ebbs and it flows. It's ups and downs, and North Carolina seems to constantly be up. This is one of those teams that I enjoy hating on because they always seem to rise to the occasion and pull out some of these close wins, at least in past years. The game against Duke, they were up big. How do you lose that game? Mm-hmm. You're beating the hell out of Duke. How do you lose that game? And this one right here, yes, it is heartbreaking. And yes, those games are tough pills to swallow. But for a fan base that has been spoiled by winning, like North Carolina has, welcome to the club. Welcome to being one of the regular guys now.
Well, it's not so much that they lose. I mean, I that doesn't bother me so much. It's more about the manner in which they've lost. They've had 3 now.
Back-to-back. Back-to-back.
Yeah, back-to-back, ridiculous, crazy finishes. Just in that's the part that sucks. I doesn't bad seasons or whatever. I don't care about that. North Carolina's fine. They'll be fine. What I do feel badly for is to see your team consistently just get the wrong end of whatever final situation, whatever last second deal. You're on the wrong end of it constantly. That sucks. That's all I'm saying. I have no special sympathy for North Carolina losing more games or whatever. Yeah, I mean that's life. That I don't worry about. But the nature of it is particularly problematic, and so that's kind of where I'm at there. I don't necessarily mean to make a huge deal of it. But
give them a shoulder to lean on.
Yeah, it's just damn man, that's just that sucks. And then I see this big. There was a big thing on ESPN this morning about Jackson State and Prairie View getting into a post game fight, which I saw, which wasn't even that big of a deal. I really expected more, frankly. If it's gonna make a headline for a post game fight, I expect some fireworks. I don't expect okay, a little shove, a little push. Come on, man. That's in the handshake line. That was fun though.
Yeah, it gets.
Why are we doing these handshake lines? Come on, man.
There are certain segments of America where it can go down in the handshake line. As somebody who comes from one of those segments of America, it can go down. All ages, and you see it. And the slightest bit of disrespect. The game was chippy, got heated. A big SWAC game to see seeding and who's going to get that 16 seed to get knocked out in the first round because. That's what happens when you play in the SWAC MEAC for whatever reason. got chippy late, a couple of hard fouls, some technicals to try and keep order, and then the handshake line, I wish so-and-so would. And all that happened, my man bumped him, grazed him, and he looked, said, oh, okay, this is how it's going to be. This is how it is. Move everybody, because I'm coming to get them. Hats off to everybody with Jackson State who got hold to my man before he could get nasty, to coin a phrase that we were talking about earlier. I was not playing this game, but my father coached me all the way up through 12, football, basketball, soccer, baseball. And he also coached my brother all the way up through. And so it was an 8 to 10-year-old Pop Warner league. There was a dude who we played baseball with on the other team who was killing them, running around the field, scoring all of the touchdowns, talking trash, high-stepping into the end zone. Shout out Mike Bell. I hope he's okay.
The bell ringer?
That's what we can call him. So he's doing that. My father's talking to refs like, y'all going to let him just do this? Nobody's going to say anything? The other team's parents is really into it. They beat the hell out of my dad's team and my brother's team that day. My dad pulled this group of 8 to 10-year-olds in, said, hey, we're finna go shake hands. If any of them say anything you don't like, whoop them. And guess what Mike Bell did? He said something somebody didn't like. I look up, Mike Bell is on his head, catching them beams. Just paws all the way loose. Several players.
So,
there's, again, certain segments, this happens.
why? We don't need to be shaking hands then.
Correct. Yes.
Why are we shaking
correct.
hands?
Correct.
Just, if shaking hands leads to throwing hands, we don't need to be doing it.
Don't shake hands.
Just
stay away.
walk away.
And in that
Send somebody
game,
a nice little note. Hey,
the Kansas
enjoy
State,
the game.
Kansas shake hands after all of that.
No.
Yeah, just walk away. As soon as you realize this game has gotten chippy.
Who's shaking hands? I mean, like, is there an organized, am I missing this in most college basketball? Am I missing an organized handshake line?
Yeah, they shake hands. It's organized.
Is
Yes.
it mandated?
No, it's not mandated,
well
but
then-
they're game ends, you get in line and then you shake hands. Coaches and then players follow right behind. Yes,
Always?
it's pretty organized. Yeah. Watch the very end of these games.
No, I'm saying, like, but I mean, like,
Yes.
it's always.
Few and far between. I can't think of the last time I saw a college team not shake hands.
I've seen them do it, obviously a lot, but I haven't seen it. Like, I've seen somewhere they haven't done it. I've seen somewhere guys walk off.
I haven't. In fact, I've seen players do something silly like take a last second shot up big and get chastised in the handshake
Yeah, I've seen
line
that,
on the
yeah.
way to shake hands and have to
Vanderbilt?
apologize.
Vanderbilt or what? There was definitely a major incident of that. Well, I'm not saying we shouldn't be sportsmanlike, but like maybe we should just kind of let that roll. They do the handshake at the end of like the hockey series and stuff. Like, maybe like at the end of the season or maybe a tournament. I don't know, some other like a significant moment. Sure, but like a regular game, you don't need to be shaking hands all the time. Everybody knows we're good.
Yeah.
You're just bringing people together in opportunities for some kind of conflict here that's not great.
Yes.
Just do like the NBA coaches do. They look at each other.
Yeah.
They gave a wave,
Yeah.
and then they just
Like they come, like sometimes they'll come and like do a handshake, and sometimes
Right.
and like NBA players, like they'll do after the game they'll come say hello to everybody, but there's not like an organized. If you want to walk off, you can walk off. It's no big deal. Like, why are we making somebody's mad? They need to go blow some steam off. Why are we making them get up there and go blow some steam off? Send somebody a little email.
Also, shout out to my man.
Hey, I enjoyed the game. Thanks for coming.
I'm assuming that's mother, aunts, grandparents. Shout out to them for coming down on the court to help keep him calm.
That's good.
He was trying to get at somebody, and they step onto the court, and it's like, nope. It's like, oh, fine.
Come on.
I just really want to fight this
I want to
dude,
fight.
man. No, baby. You can't fight.
It's ridiculous.
Her arms are folded. She is a teacher. That is a teacher look from one of those ladies. She is somebody's teacher.
I was just frankly disappointed it was not much of a fight.
Well, you know why? Because everybody got there and grabbed him before it could escalate.
Yeah.
That's why it didn't look like Kansas State. Police officers were already there. They were like, oh, okay, because we know, because this is a part of America where this happens. Whereas, okay, it can go down in a handshake line. Up, that was a hard foul. That was a tech. Everybody, we are on alert. It is a cold black, everybody. It's cold black. Get ready. And all my man did was just just walk by him and brush past him like something that you wouldn't think would be that big a deal.
I think he brushed his face, possibly. It seemed like possibly. May have said something. Not sure. But now they did make a classic mistake of letting him go. That was
they had to let him go because something else was popping off down on the other end of the court.
Yeah, but you can't.
Somebody's got to be assigned to that dude.
You gotta keep your head on the swivel here. You can't.
1, 2, 3, 2 Jackson State players, 4 Jackson State players, a ref, and a coach on my man.
Yeah,
like that. That's how you make sure nothing pops off.
But then they dissipated and went to the other side of the court and they left my man alone, and that's problematic. You can't. We got to have some discipline here. Got to push. It's like the Taylor Jenkins thing. Like when you got to have the get back coach. Like you got to have a plan in place when it pops off. You 3 stay on this guy. The other 2 go deal with this. We can't be having this.
Right.
But more importantly, just stop with the handshakes. Like I get it. Let's if you
good sportsmanship.
If you want to shake hands, great. But it's not good sportsmanship. To force people to that is not good sportsmanship. To force people to do that is not good sportsmanship. That is just a recipe for disaster because they're not good sports in that moment. They're like good, like no one's saying no one's enthusiastically doing it unless you want to do it. Like if you are an actual good sport, then you'll go and do that. You'll say, hey, congratulations, thank you, appreciate We got our team got destroyed the other night and. But we did the handshake line because they're kids, like they're little kids, like and they're really not that bothered, honestly.
They were the same age as Mike Bell. Yeah. When Mike Bell called.
Yeah, Mike. Mike may have been a special case. Who knows? Mike may have had a situation. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on in Mike's life, CJ. What I'm saying is, you do all that, and they're slapping hands, but then you go over like to the coaches. We share a little moment and keep it nice and. I just got. Crushed, but I'm going over there. Hey, good game. Y'all played well, etc. Be an actual good sport. If you don't feel like being a good sport, then you just walk off. But you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You know what I mean? You can put them in the handshake line, but you can't make them be a good sport. They're just going to big grunt, just do this, and then try to smack someone, and then you get something like this. Forget about it. All these rituals we do, they don't mean anything.
No, not at all. And the thought that. For the aggrieved party is, why would I be a good sport when you weren't a good sport and you guys didn't officiate the good sportsmanship of the game? So why would I shake hands with somebody who's been talking trash to me all game long and nobody's done anything about it?
I mean, here's the thing. You had to go through handshake lines and all this stuff, and you're not a good sport at all. It didn't teach you anything. You're a terrible sport.
Yes.
So
overwhelmingly so.
It didn't teach you anything.
No. The worst.
The worst sport, actually.
The worst are the kids who spit in their hands.
Yeah.
And now you don't know who did it.
It's nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. Gross. So kids are, no, just forget about it. We got to stop all this. If you want to teach your kids to be a good sport, then they can go walk over themselves, and that's a great way to do it. That's the best way to do it. But otherwise, stop all this. When we come back, we'll continue talking a little college hoops. Well, you said you had an epiphany here.
Yeah.
Okay.
The MLB definitely needs to do handshakes, specifically with the Astros.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna. This may be an area where I agree with you. They may need to incorporate handshakes for the first time. So we'll talk about that because things are going great for MLB. It's going great. All that when we return here on the mornings program, Sports 56 Mornings to be exact. Peter and CJ, Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/search. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/search. That's ZipRecruiter.com/search. ZipRecruiter.com/search.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Get to Holly Chevrolet in Marion to take advantage of great deals during Holly's 2020 kickoff sale. Right now, get 0% financing for 72 months on the all-new 2020 Chevy Silverado 1500 plus $1,000 bonus earnings. Or get 0% financing for 72 months on a new 2020 Chevy Equinox plus $500 cash allowance. Stop by today and check out Holly's large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to enjoy. And at Holly Chevrolet, it's a no-pressure, no-hassle environment. As a matter of fact, there's no badgers and never pay a dock fee. Find new roads at Exit 14 off I-55 in Marion, just 15 minutes from downtown Memphis, or online at hollychevrolet.com.
2020 Chevy Silverado 1500 stock number N4007. 2020 Chevy Equinox LD front-wheel drive stock number N4074. 0% financing on approved credit. All discounts, rebates, and incentives are included and applied. Must qualify finance with GM Financial and 2005 or newer GM product. Price does not include tax, tag, title, registration. Take delivery by 3/2/20. See dealer for details.
Your Memphis Tigers football program completed the greatest season in program history with 12 wins, a conference championship, and a berth in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Season tickets for the 2020 season are on sale now and start at just $100 when you buy 4 in the family fun zone or $150 for end zone seating. Get your season tickets by May 15th and receive a free gift, concessions deals, exclusive access to regular season and postseason tickets, and more. Get your season tickets today at GoTigersGo.com or call 901-678-2331. Memphis Tigers football.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
A little bit lonely and you're never coming around. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears.
Turn around.
Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by.
Turn around.
Every now and then I get a little bit
Soft Rock Tuesday.
and then I see the look
Feels
in your
so
eyes.
good. Feels so good. Feels so real. You love it. You love it. Turn around, Jose Altuve. There's a ball coming right for your head. Kapow. So everything's going great for the Astros. The over-under on number of times they're going to get hit next year has been set at 83.5. That seems low to me.
There's 162 games.
There's 162 games. I mean, it's but teams have been hit by that many that has been I think Cleveland had like 100 and something last. That's not an outlandish number. It's happened before. 9 times in the last 5 years over 83.5. And all these people hate Houston. The Astros are very hateable. They're very hated and hateable right now. So, fantastic. I think it's going to happen a lot. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be good. I'm interested in tuning in to watch Astros play.
Yep, everyone. Now, there was an interesting piece from the Athletic on why Major League Baseball did not suspend players. And it was very helpful, I think, from my perspective as somebody who does not follow baseball as closely, the ins and outs of it. Like, I was still kind of wondering what would happen. And it's interesting that the players themselves have been so outspoken about this because, quite frankly, you're talking about the most powerful players union in sports, the Major League Baseball Players Association. So they have collectively bargained quite a situation, as the Players Association in baseball. And any potential punishments to Astros players would have prompted grievances within labor and would have prompted, labor board discussions. And they've had a bad run of it. In fact, the Major League Baseball, if you remember back when they suspended Steve Howe for a year because of drug use, that it was eventually overturned because of labor rules. They frankly didn't notify the players that this was a potential punishment. It's part of it. You have to notify the employees that this is a potential punishment. Otherwise, it's not a fair situation. According to Evan Drellich, who wrote about this in The Athletic, said that if they had tried to punish the players, then MLB would have been, quote, smoked in labor court. Another person said it would have been brutal and the league would look a fool. So they clearly didn't want to push it at this point. And in fact, this is sort of one of those, kind of a North Carolina NCAA sort of thing, where it's a ridiculous semi-loophole, but it's still a loophole. They would have had to lay the groundwork for their punishment. They would have had to reach an agreement with the Players Association on the rules and the punishments. And, of course, they would have had to actually agree. The Players Association might not have actually wanted to agree on that. Right. And so who knows? And then on top of that, they notified the general manager, Jeff Lunau, but he didn't necessarily notify the players of what was going on. So at that point, you can't punish technically for all of that. Now, again, you and I both know that if a player is clearly cheating, and there should be some form of punishment for cheating, there just should be. But legally, you don't really have a leg to stand on here. Right. Again, North Carolina should have been punished for what they did. Should have been punished for creating out of whole cloth a fake Afro-American Studies department but because they technically had available to other students besides athletes, and therefore it wasn't an unfair benefit, then they're okay. Like, we know that should not be the case.
Yes.
You should be able to punish Penn State for what happened with Jerry Sandusky from an NCAA standpoint. You can't. You should be able to punish Baylor for what happened. You can't. These are all should be. So throw this on the list of should be able to's, but can't. And in this case, it's interesting now that perhaps the Players Association, when they renegotiate from here on out, because so many players are coming out and being so outspoken about how they should punish the players. Well, fellas, you got to get in there and put that in writing, and then I'm sure it'll be cool.
And that is why this is like you said, the beef is interesting between the players and themselves. This is, as you said, one of the strongest unions that we have. And so this is more than just competitors displeased at one another. This is union members beefing with one another. And it is surprising to see everybody in the MLB from a player. Mike Trout yesterday. Mike Trout. Usually doesn't say anything like controversial. Usually doesn't say anything, doesn't feed into the emotions of the moment. But Mike Trout is lighting the Astros players up as well, and so it's like infighting. It's like a mini, far less important, like Civil War type of situation where on one side you have all of the other players, and on the other it is the 40 Astros, and it is going to have to be fixed. Otherwise, you're going to make these people in a sport where they take rules into their own hand anyway. You're going to get people throwing recklessly at these Astros players. And as wrong as cheating is, and as wrong as the Astros were for banging on trash cans, if you hit me with a ball, like, it's going to get a little testy. And you don't, if you're the major league, you want this story to go away. And if every week or every month or every so often somebody's hitting the Astro player and benches are clearing, the story does not go away.
Well, again, you have to look at the players in this case are wrong to be. I mean, I guess the anger is directed wrongly in this case because, again, if you look at the timetable of what happened, the Astros, Major League Baseball, you could say that Major League Baseball, September of 2017, issued a statement about electronic sign stealing and use of video and all that stuff. And maybe that would have given them some cover in some people's eyes. But what happened at that point was the general manager of the Astros, Jeff Luhnow, did not do anything about it internally. Mm-hmm. And then A.J. Hinch, the manager at the time, and Alex Cora, the bench coach at the time, condoned the system. They knew the system was in place, and they condoned the system. So you think about this from a labor perspective. If you think about this from like a regular job, let's say you're at a bank, and you're doing, I don't know, you're doing something that's some would consider untoward. You're using your cell phone at work on personal business. Mm-hmm. You're running a small business, like a Etsy shop or something, from your cubicle at the bank.
Okay.
You're not supposed to do that. But if your manager knew you were doing it, and that person's manager knew that you were doing it, and had known for months that you were doing it, and didn't say anything to you about it, and there wasn't a specific rule that was passed down to you about it, and you were then fired, you would have cause to go and have a grievance and say, look, no one told me about this. No one, and now obviously not every union and not every group of workers is as well protected as players, so that might not work for everybody. But you would have a legitimate grievance in a court of law to say that this wasn't dealt with, this wasn't handled, this wasn't taken care of, and it wasn't passed through the proper steps. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a discrimination suit. Maybe who knows? There's all, you open yourself up to some legal jeopardy if you don't handle it in the proper way. They didn't handle it in the proper way. Baseball, once again, screwed up. Manfred screwed this up top, bottom, every which way but loose. Now you can't undo it, and everyone's mad. Players are mad, fans are mad, mm-hmm. Everyone except the Astros.
We could have seen this coming. There was an article on ESPN that brought up when the Red Sox, I forgot about this. Remember when they were selling signs with the Apple Watch? Mm-hmm. Like 2015? When was that? Anyways, when they did that, no players were suspended then either. And Major League Baseball fined the Astros a couple million and sent a memo out. And in that memo, they made sure to state, like, hey, the coach, the general manager responsible, those are the ones responsible to make sure everybody's following the rules. So they in that memo, they took the onus off the players also. And so, yes, the players should be punished. But from a legal standpoint, if it's not in there, like if it's not in the rules, they can always say, hey, it's not in the rules, man. And they'll get away with it. So it doesn't make sense for Major League Baseball from a commissioner standpoint to go through the motions of that. It still is interesting, though, because everybody else in that union wants these Astro players to be punished. And maybe in the next collective bargaining agreement, or maybe sometime this year, maybe before the next CBA, everybody comes to the table, Major League Baseball and the Players Association, and they sit down and say, hey, we need clear-cut guidelines mm-hmm. and rules as to what is going to happen to these players, because something's got to happen. We've got members of our union hot, upset because nothing is happening to these players. Let's sit down and talk about that. And you're right, the anger is misplaced. You can put it on the coach or the GM, or you can put it on yourself and your union and say, hey, let's change how we do things just a little bit.
I mean, you
to
could
make
be
sure
bad.
that
You could
this
be
happens.
mad at the Astros if you want, and I think you should be. I think you'd be mad at them for cheating. Certainly, that's not misplaced at all. But I'm saying the anger about them not being
Yes,
punished
that's what I'm talking about.
Is
The punishment.
that's the one where you have to look at yourself a little bit. That being said, the idea that stripping them of a title wouldn't have some merit or some kind of value is crazy to me. That would absolutely have huge ramifications. And Rob Manfred to treat that as if it was nothing, or treat that as if it was not even an option. Oh, it's just a piece of metal. What is that? They know in their heart that they did bad, and that's enough. All you kids, one of you in this classroom, one of you was the one who talked and yelled out the curse word. Now, I don't know which one of you was, but I'm sure, if you want to speak up now, that'll be great. Nobody?
No.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm sure the guilt that you have in your heart is probably more punishment than I could ever give.
Yep. Way more.
Probably.
You bleep.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So, that's why if no one wants to admit it, then you have to suspend everyone. That's what I always, Oh, so none of y'all are going to talk? All right, well, then y'all are suspended.
I hated that.
So every Major League Baseball team should be suspended.
Every one of them?
The whole thing. We're not playing the season until one of y'all, nobody's playing until y'all start talking.
It is, listen, man, find a way to get these players, the ones who participated, find a way to get them suspended and call it a day. The story goes away the second you find a way to get
take
these
away
guys
the title.
suspended. They
should strip them of that title. I mean, you have cheated to get that title. That is a tainted trophy, and it would it would matter. I realized that, it's different than the nonsense with the NCAA.
How?
And because of the regulation, because the nature of the crime, the nature of the indiscretion. No one is accusing Memphis, for example, when the Final Four is taken away. No one's accusing Memphis of having cheated on the court. No one's accusing them of having tied people's shoelaces together or used a ball that was improperly inflated or some had rims that were smaller for the opposing team or something like that. That's cheating the game. Like, you want to talk about like the stuff that happens behind the scenes or, some kind of weird NCAA regulations, all that garbage. Okay, that's fine. Like, to me, HGH and all that stuff, that's different than cheating the integrity of the actual competition, like knowing what pitches are coming and all that stuff. That's a different level of cheating to me. I don't have as much concern about performance enhancing substances because ultimately when you get on the field, you're playing, you don't know what pitch is coming, you're pitching, you're trying to hit the ball. That's what it is. You're running. Yeah. That part is, but if you know what pitch is coming or you're tipping and you know exactly you're cheating you understand the sign that somebody's using because you've written it down, you've tapped into there, you've used some kind of electronic bug to figure out what their signs are. You're listening into their conversations. You're doing those kinds of things that are beyond the pale. To me, that's a different level of cheating, and I think that's much worse. So I don't equate the two. I think this is worse to me than HGH or steroids or any of that stuff. That doesn't, because at least in that case, you're juiced up on steroids, whatever. They didn't test for it, and you didn't know what pitch was coming. So you're taking a fair swing at it. You still had to swing. You still had to hit the ball. You tell me what pitch is coming. I have a decent chance to hold my bat out and maybe do something with it if I know it's going to be a fastball, if I know it's going to be a curveball, if I know where it's going to be.
Okay.
That's different.
The taking away of trophies or of titles, I don't like. I don't think that is adequate punishment because we know what happened. If you're gonna take away World Series title, fine. You're gonna take away that the money the Astros got off of winning said World Series, because that is what would really hurt. I feel like, and the notoriety that came with all that Astros paraphernalia being sold, because everybody wants to rock with a winner, and the Astros are jumping up classes from a money standpoint. Are we gonna take that away? That would be a better deterrent for me, in my opinion. But taking away the trophy, we saw what happened. We know what happened out there on the field. We know why it happened. If you wanted to put an asterisk next to them, or if you wanted to put a moment in the Hall of Fame to use this as a teachable moment for the next generation, I would be fine with that as well, and have that permanently be there and be in baseball lore. Like, yes, Alex Correa was a really good baseball player. When you go to the Hall of Fame, you'll see this exhibit on the cheating scandal that he was caught up in. I would be fine with that also. But again, find a way to suspend the players, and this goes away.
Yeah, you can't do it. So it's not going to go away. Take away the title. Take away everything. We'll come back. You get your thoughts on
Just take the Astros away.
That's right. Take the
whole Astros. Take the city of Houston away.
That's right. Just take the park.
Somebody was at spring practice banging on trash cans.
Yeah, that's right. Good. Let's keep it going. Let's keep that going.
That'll be great.
Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7.
Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3. Here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
These seats are amazing. Shoot it!
We deliver tickets, team merchandise, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
Head on over to Frontier Western Store for their famous February sale. This is Frontier's biggest sale of the year, and it is the time to save big on boots and apparel. All men's jeans are now on sale. Ariat denim $10 off. Wrangler and Carhartt pants $5 off. Select styles marked down even more, up to half price. There's huge savings on Carhartt shirts as well. Select clearance shirts and outerwear up to 50% off. Ariat shirts and jackets discounted as well. Hurry in for best selections. Women's t-shirts by Simply Southern, Girly Girl, and Puppy Love as low as $10. Frontier has markdowns in the boot room as well. Hundreds of boots by Double H, Rocky, Durango, and Ariat. Now priced to move to make room for new spring arrivals. Stop by Frontier today and grab your next pair of dress or work boots. It's the famous February sale at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Imagine for a moment the perfect food, just what you're craving, made hot, fresh, and fast. And you're imagining Sunrise on Jefferson. Whether you're going to settle in for a nice leisurely breakfast or lunch, or you're going to swing by for the best takeout in Memphis, the ideal meal is always waiting for you at Sunrise. Maybe you're craving a perfect breakfast. That's at Sunrise. Or a delicious burger. That's at Sunrise, too. No matter what it is you're craving, I guarantee it's on the menu at Sunrise, just waiting for you to order it.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything, a tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels and gold and silver and more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, diamonds, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts in wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis, local and family-owned. Whatever your dream, make it come true at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar.
Make your day smoking with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic never rusts, and the easy, accurate temperature control gives you the greatest range of any grill. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Available at these nearby locations: Hamilton Fireplace Shop, 4462 Summer Avenue; Germantown Hardware Company, 2083 South Germantown Road; Garden Spas and Pool, 9393 Poplar Avenue; and East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Mid-South Power Distributors. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Get to me the sooner or later.
Yeah. on Soft Rock Tuesday. It's a rainy, nasty morning. Rain's going to get heavier here in the next little bit, so bring your umbrella to work. And I'd say use it. No, don't just bring it to work. Use it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's my advice to you.
And speaking of that, the rain has begun.
All right.
Okay.
It is awfully dark out, too.
It is. I'm going to hold off on that.
No, what were you going to say?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Huh?
I don't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Texter says, it's hypocritical of baseball players to be upset about the Astros cheating when this has been going on for a long time. Tim Doolin, who comes on with Willow, tells of many teams that has been this has been going on for years and years. I mean, the whole thing about cheating, like the differences of cheating versus like cheating via stealing electronic signs versus like stealing signs or figuring out what your opponents are doing. To me, there's a distinction there. Like, I do think that the teams have been using, some nefarious methods to cheat, I'm sure, for years and years and years. Point is that they're caught. I mean, you shouldn't be doing it. And it's different, especially when you think about like individual players whose lives were changed by this or careers were shortened by this or changed in some material way by the fact that they had an underhanded method to figure out what teams were going to throw, what the pitchers were going to throw. Like, that's a major thing for somebody's career. Mm-hmm. You end up, losing your job as a result of the Astros beating you up or, that changes things, man. So it's a big deal. You shouldn't be doing that. If you figure out the signs out there, on the field, you can figure them out. That's one thing. But to use video to go and like have, either secret video or some kind of methods to notify, no, that's way beyond the pale.
And on top of thinking about the players' lives who changed, think about that guy who playing fantasy baseball had money on the line.
That's a great point.
His wife told him don't put no more money on the line, but he put it on the line anyway because he knew this year he had a special squad. And he goes out there and faces off against a Correa or an Altuve, and they get a couple more hits, and he ends up losing that money. And now he has to go home and tell his wife, hey, I lost that money. And she divorces him. She leaves him. Mm-hmm. Now this guy is destitute, brokenhearted, living on the streets, all because of what the Astros did.
That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Guy that went to, played daily fantasy. DraftKings. FanDuel.
Oh, the good old duel, the FD, as I like to call it.
And it just says, hey, I'm loading it all up.
Okay.
Against this team that's playing against the Astros because I think they're vulnerable. And then what happens? The Astros beat them up. All his players end up losing. All that money down the drain.
All that money.
He ends up selling crack on the streets.
That is how a lot of drug dealers get started, placing all that money against the Astros.
Yeah, it's why, if I'm not mistaken, there probably was a major uptick in crack sales.
Whoa!
Right after the Astros won the World Series, probably.
I'd believe it.
I haven't really checked that out numerically.
Don't worry about it.
I'm assuming it's probably true. It feels true, and that's better than any actual truth. So great points there. Let's think about those people a little bit, and thoughts and prayers and all that.
Yes,
certainly.
Yes, in their time of need.
When we come back, Jason Munz. It's been a weird season for old Money Munzel.
Money Munzel.
1 year ago, he was talking about Johnny Manziel maybe coming. Now he's talking about Tigers in the NIT.
Hopefully.
I don't know. What a year. We'll talk to Munz next. Stick around. Hour number 2 on the way.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar. Take it into Mississippi. The first exit's Craft Road. Turn left. And go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. Their newly renovated drive-in repair shop is open to the public. Whether it'll be your everyday driver, farm equipment, fleet vehicle, or heavy-duty truck, their ASE-certified technicians will get you back on the road. The on-site dyno is ready to run all the necessary diagnostic testing. From preventative maintenance to complete overhauls, Mid-South Power can handle it all. Stop in today at 3288 Mill Branch Road or call 901-396-0710 and online at mid-southpower.com.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. Indeed will also give you the sticky frog, which will suddenly leap and stick to the face of the perfect hire. Okay, there's no sticky frog. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
At Aaron's, we believe in the magic of wintertime warmth. That magic that comes from good people out there, always helping others, working hard, and providing for those they love, no matter what. So why are there so many stores unwilling to work with some good people? Just because your credit isn't the best doesn't mean your TV or refrigerator can't be. That's why at Aaron's, we work with you. So you can get flexible lease-to-own plans that fit your budget. Because good people always deserve better. Aaron's. Easy, beautiful, affordable.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and C.J. Hertz. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Peter and C.J.
Doing anything just to get you off of my mind. Hour number 2 is here on the Soft Rock Tuesday. A little Toto for you on a rainy, dark, overcast, nasty, wet, athletic Tuesday.
So athletic.
Extremely athletic out there.
Question is the ability to lead, though.
Definitely some concerns, some intangibles out there. Not 100% sure I'm on board with it.
Oh, it is that season again. One of my favorite times of the year.
The draft?
Oh,
the draft,
my gosh.
The NFL,
the NFL draft,
yeah.
especially.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
So this great athlete. This is a special athlete. He's a freak. He's a monster.
Oh, he must be black.
He
must
beast.
be big and black.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Yep.
Freak, beast. Yeah, okay, all right. We get it. Animal. Yep. He's an animal.
Yep.
He's a, yeah,
that's
okay,
yeah. All right, enough. You're making me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
we get it.
Too much. It's between the coded racial language and the weird fetish of like body parts. Like, look at the hip. The hip blast is amazing.
These hands.
This guy, look at those thighs. Those big, creamy thighs are
got
amazing.
Tree trunks for thighs. Yes.
It's incredible. If you look at look at those ripped abs and that waist, swivel waist. That's think about it in turn. What are you doing? What's happening right now? What is this profile? This is a very weird scouting report I'm reading right here.
Oh, and there's this dude. He's not really much of an athlete. Nothing really spectacular about him from a physical sense, but his mind, oh my gosh, has a mind for the game. He was a coach's son. Great guy. Definitely. Great leader.
100% white.
All of the intangibles.
Couldn't be more white. Lily white.
It's like, hey, he has to be a decent athlete to get to this point.
We get it. Speaking of great athletes, Jason Munz joins us on the program. Munz is definitely a great athlete. I mean, I've seen him move. I've seen him get after it. I've seen him. He's had to endure all sorts of things. This year's been one of those years. It's last year at this time he was dealing with the Memphis Express. Now he's dealing with the Memphis Tigers. Things did not go as planned for the Express, and things are not going as planned for the Tigers. Jason Munz. So you're familiar with this, but you and the Commercial Appeal are still doing your thing, and you're surviving and thriving. How are you, good sir?
I'm just wondering what show this is. To be quite honest, I feel like I've wandered into the twilight zone, if you will.
Well, you're here, and that's the important thing, Jason.
Yeah.
You doing okay, buddy?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I mean, I just want to check in on you. It's been a tumultuous season.
It's been a wild, strange trip so far. Most recently, the trips to Cincinnati and Hartford, Connecticut, and both were wild at times, and both were very strange at times. So, it's been an interesting season, and that's really in our line of work all we can ask for. I mean, certainly it's easier to cover happy times, good things, but at the very least, it's not boring, and that's that's me finding a silver lining on this rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, the last 3 games have all been losses, but they're losses by 2, 6, 3 points. Tigers right there with chances to win. All of those games had the lead going down to the final 5 minutes of all of those games, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the South Florida game. It was a while ago. What is going on? Why are they unable to close these games out late?
I think there's a number of factors at play here, the biggest one to me is inexperience / youth, and that not only goes for the players, which there's a ton of it. Even the wily vets, Lance Thomas, who's a redshirt sophomore, Alex Lomax, Tyler Harris, who are both sophomores who got a lot of playing time last year, they're still just sophomores. I mean, Lance Thomas hasn't played in 2 years. He really hasn't played a whole lot this year until the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so, when he started getting hot, started knocking down some three-pointers. But I think they just, they get late in these games and they get flustered. I think they sort of lose focus. They lose sight of the goal, the ultimate goal. I think they kind of all want to be the man, and Penny Hardaway has talked about that on a number of occasions. These guys came straight from high school. Most of them came straight from high school where they were all the guy. They all were used to, in the few games that were close and late, they were the ones that had the ball in their hands. And now that they're all on one team, there's only one ball, and they kind of get, I don't know if they panic is the right word or whatever, but it's something on the player side. And then on the coach's side, this is Penny Hardaway's second season. This is Mike Miller's second season as a college coach, a coach at any level, really. Cody Toppert is in his first season as a college basketball coach. Really, Tony Madlock is the only one with any significant amount of experience coaching college basketball. And so to me, that's what it really all boils down to, is they just they don't know exactly what to do to close these games out because they've never had to do it before.
Well, and that's the part that's frustrating to watch because, stylistically it's a little rough out there. You see the offense and the half court offense is rough, but the transition offense isn't all that great, honestly. I was looking this morning on Synergy to see the numbers. They're 37th percentile, so they're well below average nationally in transition offense. They're 32nd percentile in half court efficiency, also well below average. So it's not as if like the up and down stuff is really getting them where they need to go, and so much of that is turnovers. I mean, they turn it over 23% of the time in transition. That's crazy, and that's to me is the thing that is frustrating. Muns, as much as this team has known about the problem of turnovers, has worked, I'm sure, tirelessly throughout practices, in film sessions, you name it, to try to eliminate this issue, it is still just a glaring, massive problem that has undoubtedly cost them games.
You want to know what's funny? This was a week or two ago, so it doesn't take into account the last few games, the last at least two games. They have, this is, like I said, this is as of a week ago. They have 4 games, or they had 4 games this season where they committed fewer than 13 turnovers, which is pretty good. That's not bad. In those games, they were 1-3. So it's like that's the strangeness that we're talking about here. It's like
so you think they need more turnovers? That's an interesting approach. Okay, I like it. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's get weird.
What's great is they're undefeated when they commit 27 or more turnovers. They're 2-0 when they commit 27 or more turnovers.
The fact that has happened twice is amazing.
I just want to contextualize this for everybody, though. For real, though, this is the context. They turn it over 23.1% of the time in transition per Synergy. They've had 458 transition possessions this year, which is quite a few. 23% of the time they have turned it over. That is literally the worst in all of college basketball. 353rd out of 353. And in fact, second is 22%, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. So that difference between next to last and last is similar to the difference between, like, for example, the top 20 or so are kind of separated by that same amount. Like, they are extremely on the end of the absolute worst in all of college basketball, Muns. That's a lot. That's bad. There's a lot of teams.
Yeah, it is. And I was talking to Tyler Harris about this after the UConn game, and the way he described it, I thought it was a pretty good, some pretty good insight. It's like, while that is absolutely just terrible, those are terrible numbers. That is some terrible basketball when you turn the ball over as much as they have this season. That's by far not their only issue. They give up so many offensive rebounds. It's crazy. I think they gave up 15 offensive rebounds to UConn the other day. And it's not just the offensive side. I mean, they're getting out rebounded pretty much, every, I'd say 2 out of 3 games, 3 out of 4 games, something like that. On top of that, 6 of their last 8 games, they've shot under 70% from the free throw line. Under 70%, 6 of their last 8 games. That's another thing that's just really, really bad. And so the way Tyler Harris described it, it's like there's so many issues that when they try to fix one of them, something else pops up. And all I could think of was, this team going to like Dave and Buster's or Chuck E. Cheese and just playing whack-a-mole all day. It's like something, it's like if it ain't one thing, it's another. And that's exactly the way it's been this season. When they try to fix their turnovers, they give up offensive rebounds. When they try hard not to give up offensive rebounds, they stink from the free throw line, or they, shoot a terrible percentage from the 3-point line. So, I mean, it's just been kind of a nightmare so far. this season.
Why has the Tigers struggled to find another consistent offensive weapon to go alongside Precious Achiuwa so far this season?
That's a tough question. I mean, I think that goes back to what I was saying before, is that you've got all these guys who, you know, when they came here, everybody was asked and everybody talked about sacrifice. You know, they talked about that, you know, a lot. And they talked about the group chat that they all, you know, were a part of, and how they all, even throughout the recruiting process, the Lester Quinones's, the Boogie Ellis's, DJ Jeffries, Damian Ball, Malcolm Dandridge, James Wiseman, they all talked about, you know, what they were going to have to do, what they were going to have to sacrifice from a personal standpoint in order to achieve greater team success. And that's all well and good, and it's all great. But when you start losing, I think when that doesn't work, when sacrificing, you know, your personal stuff doesn't work, I think guys start to, you know, like doubt starts to creep in, and maybe that wasn't the way to go. And if we're going to lose, then I might as well get mine, sort of thing. And I think that is also, that's it's counterproductive. I mean, it's easy, it's human nature to kind of think that way in times of adversity and things like that. But, you know, I mean, if I was offering advice, I think they need to stay the course, and, or they needed to stay the course. They needed to maintain, you know, that strong sense of sacrifice. And if they had done that, or if they, you know, figure out a way to do that, then maybe that will help them find somebody, because it hasn't been consistent. I mean, lately it's been Boogie Ellis, right? He's come on really, really strong here lately. He's been the guy who's been, you know, the complement to Precious Achiuwa in a way. A little bit of Lance Thomas, some Lester Quinones. Tyler Harris has scored. He's averaging 15 points in his last 3 games. But you're right; they need 1 or 2 guys, not 4 guys, who, you know, you never know who it's going to be on a nightly basis. I think that's it's a good point. That's another part of the problem. They don't know who is going to be their guy, especially in crunch time.
Do you get the sense there's been a little weirdness in the lineups? It's been a fluid situation. They've struggled to figure out exactly what the best 5 should be on the court. Sometimes not only from a starting standpoint, but then throughout the course of a game. Is that a matter of inexperience from the coaching staff as a whole? Is that just the nature of this team because of how much upheaval and how difficult it's been losing, you know, so many key pieces? What are the issues with the lineups?
I don't really have as much of a problem with that as some people, just because it makes, when they've made changes, they've made sense, or they've been, you know, whether it's been out of necessity because, you know, DJ Jeffries has been hurt. Malcolm Dandridge had to sit out a game the other day, so that made, you know, they had to change the lineup then. You know, you what was it? It was about a month ago or so when they went down to South Florida, and that was the first time they made any significant changes. They took Alex Lomax off the bench, put him in the starting lineup at point guard, and he was not the same. I mean, you go back and look at the first half of the season, the 2019 part of the season, and he was the biggest reason why they were so good. You know, when it gets right down to it, and then they put him in the starting lineup, and it messed up his mojo or something. You know, whatever cliche you want to use. So I didn't have a problem with them, you know, taking him out of the starting lineup and then putting in Boogie Ellis. Also because that worked. That seemed to really ignite Boogie Ellis. So that was fine. But no, I mean that even though that's, you can explain it and rationalize why they've been doing so much shuffling with the starting lineup, I'm sure that's just one more thing that doesn't help matters. Because, yeah, I mean, it's they need consistency. They need, that's what young teams need, is uniformity and consistency, and they don't have it. They can't seem to find it anywhere.
So after this matchup with East Carolina, they have a real tough, 5 or 6 game stretch here to close out the season. Houston on the road and at home. Wichita State comes through. They go on the road to SMU as well. Like, what do the Tigers need to do to get back safely into the tournament? Or is this a team that is going to be fighting through their conference tournament, hoping to win that to be able to get a bid?
I think at this point, I think they can get back in the conversation. I'm not sure they can get back on the right side of the bubble, even if they win out the regular season. I mean, anything's possible just because of how weird this college basketball season has been. And, beating Houston twice, beating Wichita State at home, beating SMU on the road, those would be some games that, would likely grab the attention of some, the decision makers, those who, the committee. That would show that this team is playing well at the right time. They're talented. They're capable of beating some teams. I mean, even though SMU isn't like a traditional power or someone that people view as a big win, they're 18-6. SMU is actually playing really, really well this season. They have a great offense. So going on the road and beating a team like that, which, by the way, just beat a ranked Houston team, that would make some noise. That would be a big statement. So, but they have to win those games if they're going to get back on the in the at-large conversation. I mean, I just went through and updated my Tiger bracketology, and most of the projections that I've seen today have them like on the fringe of the fringe. Like, they're out. They're not out of the conversation, or they're not out of consideration, but they are out of, they're not one of the last 4 out. They're not one of the next 4 out. So people seem to be still giving them the benefit of the doubt. But time is running out. 1 or 2 more losses, and they've got to start looking toward the conference tournament and trying to win that.
It has been a strange year, and Jason Muntz is doing the best he can, covering it and doing a great job in the midst of a lot of adversity. There's no doubt about that. So now let me ask you this: the team at this point now, if things continue to kind of trend in the direction that they're trending, and they end up as a NIT team rather than NCAA tournament team, and then the opportunity comes up, and I know Mike Miller has certainly been in discussions for other jobs, UNLV among others. Last year, I'm sure he will continue to do that. I think I heard Eli talking about this yesterday. Like, he didn't get in the coaching business to be an assistant coach for a long period of time. He's ready to move on up when he gets the opportunity. Is there a risk that you start to lose a little bit of the mojo if you have a season like this followed by Mike Miller, who's big for recruiting, leaving, and maybe a kid? Maybe you're Jalen Green. Maybe you see, I don't know. Maybe can you lose a little bit of the mojo here, Muntz?
Absolutely. I absolutely think you could. I mean, he's the reason why Memphis has Boogie Ellis. He's the reason why Memphis has Precious Achua. He's the reason why they got Lester Quinones. I mean, he's vastly important to the success of the construction of these rosters, these first few years. And if you take him, you remove him from the equation, he is the primary recruiter for Jalen Green and Greg Brown. Those are the guys that they've sort of pinned their hopes to for next season. With a couple of others sprinkled in there. So, yeah, I mean, it could get scary if he decides to leave. Now, I do know that there is, there was some rumblings last season. There are some rumblings this season that he is, sort of testing the waters, if you will, having discussions, whatever. I'd point out, though, that his son, one of his sons, Mason, I guess, will be a senior next year at Houston. So, it's not quite so cut and dry necessarily. He did just open up a restaurant here in the area. So I'm not quite sold necessarily on the fact that he is that it's a foregone conclusion that if things keep going the way they've been going, that he's gone. I'm not quite in that camp just yet, but it's not outside. It's not out of the question.
Something you got to think about. Certainly, you got to consider it.
Yeah, and that would be trouble. It would, and if that came to pass, I would love to see what Penny Hardaway does to, he's Penny Hardaway. He would go out and I'm sure make a splash, as far as looking for a replacement or whatever. So, if that happens, it'll make for a very interesting offseason.
It's going to be a fascinating end of the story over the next few weeks, no matter how it goes. Either a inspirational comeback and getting into the tournament and turning what looked like a lost cause into something greater, or the end of a season that promised much and delivered little for a lot of different reasons. Either way, Jason Munz will be writing all about it, and you can read him on the Commercial Appeal, and you should, and you can follow him on Twitter as well, at Munzly, Munzly. Money Munzel, thank you so much, my friend. Have a wonderful Tuesday.
Same to you guys. Appreciate it.
Always good talking to you. Jason Munz, he's terrific. Love reading his stuff, and it's been he's had a lot to write about. A lot of different sorts of things that he might not have expected to be writing about. That's the gig, man. You never know. You never know what life is going to bring you. When we come back, I do know that we're going to talk a little bit of news off the court. We'll do that from an NBA perspective as well, and among other things. We'll do that on a rainy, nasty sort of Tuesday here. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Base is loaded here at the top of the ninth. And the pitch. And it's out of here!
We deliver baseball caps, mitts, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
Welcome back to Sports View. Today's topic, who's the greatest of all time? For my money, it's Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle. It literally saves you money. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
Look, it's simple.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Add up all the heroes, take away the zeros, and what you got? One big trophy of me saying, I told you so.
I disagree.
Thanks, fellas. Took the words right out of my mouth.
There's really no debate. Progressive's Home and Auto Bundle is a winning combination. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches: 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything, a tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels and gold and silver and more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, diamonds, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts in wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis, local and family-owned. Whatever your dream, make it come true at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quincy White Station. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Now there you go again. You say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? It's only right that you should play the way you feel.
You know, you learn a lot of things digging in through. For example, I learned that there's a player. You know, we have Zion Williamson, of course, who's a big star at the NBA level. Played a little college basketball last year. You might have heard of Zion. Did you know there's a player named Zion Williams who plays for
Don't do that to me. Now I'm going to be confused.
Missouri, Kansas City. Oh, you won't. I don't think you're going to get confused by that guy. But yeah, his name is Zion Williams. What a rough go that is.
Yes.
Hey, we got Zion Williams here. What? No, Zion Williams.
Where's the son at?
Hey, that's Zion Williams' son. No, the little guy. Yeah.
No,
there's our player, Zion Williams.
Zion
He's got a son.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. The reason I was looking. So I was trying to figure out. We're talking about Tigers with Ole Munns, and talking about how bad the turnovers are. How about this? So I looked up the old synergy and started digging through again to see what's going on. You know, Tigers have played, and Alex Lomax played a lot for the Tigers.
Yes.
Did you know, CJ? Alex Lomax has turned the ball over 28.8% of the time on his possessions.
I did not know that.
That's a lot.
That's
almost
too
like
many. 1 in 3. Certainly more than 1 in 4.
It is. Yeah. It is. So that number, out of the players who have had at least 100 possessions of Division I college basketball this year, that's a fair few number of possessions. That should be you at least doing something with the ball, assist-wise, taking a shot, something like that 4 or 5 times a game. So that's most of your rotation players. Amongst all of those players, Alex Lomax ranks 2,620 second, 2622 out of 2660.
Oh, wow.
There are 2,660 players. The worst is Brendan McGuire of Quinnipiac, who somehow turns it over 40% of the time. I don't even know how this man still plays. When you turn, that's an insane number. So 2622 out of 2660. Wow. That means you are in the lower 1% of the entire 2,600 strong college basketball. Point being, at some stage, CJ, as much as Lomax has done a lot of scrappy, good sort of things, stealing the ball and making some plays and competing hard, that is a disqualifying number. That number is a disqualifier. That is one that you say, I cannot play you. We can't put you on the floor. That's too much. That alone, for all the good things that happen, if you turn it over nearly 30% of the time in your possessions, that's almost 1 in 3, which negates so many good things. Yep. Every deflection, every steal, whatever it is, it's being counterbalanced by this. You know, are you stealing the ball 29% of the time?
No.
Because you better be. Because you're giving it to them 29% of the time, so you got to find a way to make that up. it's just too much. And so I'm not saying that you necessarily have to go, because like it's not as if you got a whole bunch of other great options out there. But for example, for all the issues that Boogie Ellis has, he's at 12.7%. So we're talking better than half. That's more than twice as good in terms of that number. That's important, and he ranks somewhere towards the upper 30-40% of the country in that regard. It's not a problem. It's not like he's super duper spectacular, but it's not a problem there. Same thing with like guys like Quinones are like okay, like 18%. But the real culprit is Lomax. His number stands out huge in that. And Damian Baugh. You ready for this?
Yes.
Damian Baugh?
Yes.
30%.
Oh.
He's 2650 out of 2660. So that means that two of the Tiger point guards, the two, I would say the two, other than Boogie, who's now moved to ball handling in the last month or so.
Might explain why Boogie moved over to ball handling.
Is why he did. But you have two of the three primary ball handlers who are 26-22 and 26-50 in the country, respectively.
Out of how many?
Out of 26-60.
That ain't good.
That's crazy.
That ain't good, man.
That's crazy, CJ.
And this might be why we sat and we were trying to figure out why Boogie Ellis wasn't looking good, and then they put him on the ball, and Boogie looks much better, much more comfortable. And part of it might simply be that with those two guards, with Damian and Alo, they just couldn't get Boogie the ball in a position where he could do anything with it because there were so many turnovers. Like you've got to, and you should have. Now it's kind of late, but you should have found a way to nip this thing in the bud. When we're watching Memphis play Alcorn State, after Alcorn travels across country, gets into town at 4 a.m, and look up and Memphis has damn near 30 turnovers. Like you would think that would be red flag. Hey, let's stop what we are doing and go back to basics. We've got to cut down on some of these turnovers. Alo, Damian, and others, but those two specifically, we can't be turning the ball over like this. This has got to stop. We're going to cost ourselves games by doing so. Unfortunately, whatever they did to try and rectify that situation didn't really work. It's gotten to the point to where now if I'm watching the game and Memphis ends the game with 16, 17 turnovers, it's like, oh, good. That's a good game for them. Because we've seen it get up to 22, 25. 28, 31, some crazy astronomical numbers. And it's hard for you to win games when you are giving possessions away to opponents. It just is. And if you're Memphis, you need all, and you already struggle offensively. You need all of the possessions you can get to take a solid crack at getting the ball in the rim. You can't just be turning it over and expecting to win games because offensively you don't have that type of firepower. And on the defensive end, your defense is pretty good. But when you have live ball turnovers, all bets are off. So you're not even giving yourself a chance to set up and do the thing you're really good at. The best thing that you do, which is play defense in the half court. You're not giving yourself a chance to get back and set that up because you have all of these live ball turnovers and the other team is getting fast break opportunities.
It's unbelievable to think about that you two of your three major ball handlers are among the worst 1% of turnover players in the country. Like,
it's a lot of basketball players in the country.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, and like I said, you have to pare it down to the guys that actually handle the ball on a regular basis, or at least are part of a major part of the offense. Like, that's astonishing. If you look around the rest of it, there's no other real. There's not a significant amount of major conference guys that are in there. There's a handful. There's a guy from Penn State, a guy from Seton Hall. Here and there you see some of those guys, but for the most part, it's like a Elon and North Carolina Central and UNC Wilmington and Citadel and Chicago State and that type of thing. Teams that you would expect to be overwhelmed athletically, and so you're just kind of throwing the ball up and you're going to turn it over and all that. The Tigers should not be overwhelmed athletically.
Right.
I mean, Damian Baugh is pretty decent
They're,
athlete.
they're not overwhelmed. I think.
Alex Lomax is a good athlete. So I'm saying their turnovers, it's even more of a glaring thing because their turnovers come from just either lack of discipline, lack of thought, to getting too frenetic, too sped up, strategic issues, whatever it may be. But that's a big red flag, and you can't overcome that. That's the thing is like you just those are disqualifying numbers. That's why you can't play those guys. But by the same token, you run out of guys to play. So what are you going to have like Tyler Harris and like Boogie Ellis and I mean,
and Lester just out there the whole game?
And Malcolm Dandridge turns it over an unbelievable amount of times himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's at like 38%. He just doesn't have as many possessions. So like, he doesn't qualify because he's only got 54 or got 70 possessions on the year. So I limited it to 100 possessions. You have to at least hold the ball and do some stuff, with it. The guy's turning it over. There's all kinds of weird outliers. Guys have had the ball like 10 times and turned it over like 8. Like, okay, I'm not talking about that guy. But Dandridge, of his 70 possessions, he's turned it over almost 39% of the time.
Yeah.
Either via offensive fouls or whatever. That's like you if you have a lineup with Dandridge, Baugh, and Alex Lomax out there all together.
Walking turnover.
It's statistically odds are you're just going to hand the ball to the other team. But again, that's 3 of your rotation.
Mm-hmm.
How many dudes can you got to put it? Precious, Boogie, Tyler, Quinones, and I guess Lance Thomas, and then that's pretty much what you got. You got to go roll with those dudes. Those are your low turnover guys.
Yeah, and it's hard.
Play them 40. See what happens.
40 minutes.
Yep. See what happens.
I mean, you
wouldn't turn it over as much.
You can sub the other dudes in and just be like, hey, when you catch the ball, just run to half court and run out of bounds. And let us get back and set up defensively.
Don't throw it to anyone else.
Don't do anything. Just
be
step out of bounds. We know you're going to turn it over. Just step out of bounds in their backcourt. Let them get the ball, get back, and let's play some defense. All of those possessions, man. That when you turn it over, the offensive struggles that you have get highlighted all the more because you don't have enough possessions to balance that out, to play yourself out. So bad shots on the offensive end hurt all the more. Precious Achiuwa getting doubled and shooting a fadeaway mid-range jump shot hurts all the more because that was one of the few possessions that you had where it wasn't a turnover. Like this turnover thing has been we've known about this turnover issue since December, and the fact that it hadn't been fixed is something that is a little bit disheartening, and it does go to show that Penny is still young in this thing too. Like it's still year number 2 for him as well. He's next year and really this year towards the end of the season, he's got to find a way again to get this team to value the ball and value possessions and find a way to cut back on some of these turnovers. Just get it to 14 a game. 13, 14 a game here down the stretch. That's fine. It just can't be 18, 19, 22 turnovers, and you expect to come out on top of the Houstons and Wichita States and SMUs of this conference.
It's just it tells you this is one of those things where you have to go back, and maybe this has to wait till the end of the season completely to really go back and assess. But to get to this point is crazy. To think about the 3, because if Dandridge qualified, he'd be 2659th out of 2660. So you'd have 22nd, 2650, and 2659 out of 3 of the worst 40 players in college basketball in turnover percentage would be part of your 8-man rotation. Something is badly wrong with what you're doing. Now, what that is, whether that's just those players individually or whether that's the system or just the circumstance they find themselves in where everyone is playing more than they need to because you've lost 2 of your key dudes. That's what you have to go back and look at the film and study that and what it would. But that's just a crazy number, crazy. So I don't know what you can expect, but I know that when you have 3 guys in those positions, you're going to lose a lot of games.
Yeah.
A lot more than you otherwise would.
But when you
can't help it. You're going to give the ball to the other team a million times.
When you realize that you've got some turnover-prone players, your system has got to change. You have got to coach the players you have, not the players that you want or the players you think that they can become. Like this is what he is. This is what Alo. This is what Damian. This is what these guys are. We can work on it in the off season, but right now in season, it's hard for us to make the leaps in progress that we would need to rectify this. Let's deal with it in the off season. This season, though, this is how we're going to have to play. We're going to have to change up how we play because you guys, for whatever reason, are turning the ball over too much. So I'm going to dial my system back some. We're going to play a little bit slower. We are going to take out some of the complexities and the intricacies of the offense and narrow this thing down so you know exactly what you're supposed to do with the ball. We're going to take a lot of these options away from you because when there are options on the table and different things you can do with the ball, you get frazzled by everything there is that can happen and you don't make the right decision. So we're going to have to scale that back some and just all I need you to do is make the next pass. Not to make a play, not to penetrate and pitch, not to get to the rim, draw contact, and finish. None of that. I just need you two specifically, or you three specifically, to simply make the next pass. And if you do that, we will have successful possessions.
It's easier said than done, apparently.
Yes. What's my man's name for Quinnipiac?
Brendan McGuire. 40%. Not good. So he's worse. So if that makes anybody feel
Brendan
any better. When we come back, we'll talk about that. We'll get into that off-court news from the NBA as well. Get your thoughts and your reaction to it. What do you think the issue is from the Tiger standpoint? We'll talk to Omari Sankofa about the Grizzlies coming up at 9 o'clock. But until then, do you think it's a systemic issue? Is it a player issue? What is it that's causing this? Because 3 guys in that level of turnovers is basically unheard of at this point. So we'll do all that when we return here in the Family Leisure Studios. In this hour, brought to you by friends at East Memphis Ace Hardware, right there at Quince and White Station. You can't miss it. Good folks. Talk to Jared, talk to Philip, talk to the great folks at East Memphis Ace Hardware. Back after this, Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7.
Watch out now. Man, what kind of way is that to start a promo? We want to tell the people about R&R on Sports every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Watch out now.
It's February. Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Are you considering replacing your air conditioning system this spring? Conway Services and Carrier have teamed up to make now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling system. February is one of our slowest months of the year. Our warehouse is full and our crews are slow. So to spark business during these slow winter months, Conway Services is giving away Carrier 80% gas furnaces absolutely free with the purchase of a standard Carrier air conditioning system. That's right, purchase a Carrier air conditioning system in the month of February and get the gas furnace for free. If that's not enough, we'll include an April air cleaner, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. Plus 12 months interest free. See why I call it February? And you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old heating and air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Your Memphis Tigers football program completed the greatest season in program history with 12 wins, a conference championship, and a berth in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl. Season tickets for the 2020 season are on sale now and start at just $100 when you buy 4 in the Family Fun Zone or $150 for end zone seating. Get your season tickets by May 15th and receive a free gift, concessions deals, exclusive access to regular season and postseason tickets, and more. Get your season tickets today at GoTigersGo.com or call 901-678-2331. Memphis Tigers football.
Make your day smoking with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic never rusts, and the easy, accurate temperature control gives you the greatest range of any grill. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Available at these nearby locations: Hamilton Fireplace Shop, 4462 Summer Avenue; Germantown Hardware Company, 2083 South Germantown Road; Garden Spas and Pool, 9393 Poplar Avenue; and East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road.
The Vargas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over one-third of Memphis's existence. Someone asked me if we remember the day the Rendezvous started, and I tell them no, because if we thought it was going to last this long, we'd have kept much better records. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich. It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on the bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with Rendezvous seasoning in it. It will really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. My grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the alley in downtown Memphis.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Like a star that can wait for a night.
Texter pointed out, by the way, that I was wrong about the Baby Come Back song earlier in the hour. It was a Player. I forgot this.
I thought Toto.
Toto's done.
But I didn't want to correct because I don't know enough about soft rock.
I just, I got that wrong. It was my own personal turnover. And I apologize for that, everybody. I'd like to just apologize on the record for anyone that's harmed by that psychologically or any other way. If the folks at Player are listening, my apologies to you. Did not mean to diminish the great work that you've done in the soft rock genre. Just letting everyone know. This, of course, Toto.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. It's not Toto.
It's not?
No, it's not. It's not Player either.
Okay.
It's Alex Lomax.
Oh.
Texter says, I don't blame the turnovers on the players mainly. I blame Penny more for his commitment to playing lightning fast. Their play is fast, wild, not out of control. They're now trying to teach half-court offense when the season is 80% over. Another texter says, passing drills clearly aren't being coached. You always dance with the one that brung you. Shuffling lineups creates confusion and disappointment in the minds of your players. It's one thing to be a good player and another thing to be a does of players. It takes time. Do you think does it take time?
For some it does, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now I don't know what the cupboard situation is, but Juwan Howard has walked into his first head coaching job and is doing okay. Juwan, though, spent time coaching in the Heat organization as an assistant for a few years also. But yeah, it does take time because Juwan had those few years as an assistant coach. It makes it a little bit easier when it's your turn to be a head coach. So if this is your first head coaching opportunity at this level, it is going to take a little bit of time. How much time does he have, though?
Do you think the Tigers would benefit from a little more experience on the staff as well?
Yeah. Staff. More. I'd be interested to see what this staff does or would have done with, like, Larry Brown as one of the assistants.
You could see the understanding.
Like that would
be the logic.
Yes.
That worked there. You could see the logic that Sam Mitchell, on the staff that's the idea of that. It feels like these are things that you could work through. The pacing and stuff. But as the texter points out, says, are y'all watching the games? Alo's turning the ball over mostly in the half court. That has nothing to do with the system. That's the player with his decision-making playing hero ball down the stretch. Yes, Penny has too much faith in Alo, especially at the end of games, but you're limited at true point guard play. The other two players are freshmen. One freshman that missed a lot of time during off-season at the beginning of the season, so he's catching up. I would say in terms of half-court turnovers, yeah, he's certainly got his fair share. There's no question. He's turning it over in every situation.
Any situation
when you're turning it over 29% of the time, you're turning it over a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit everywhere. I can break it down for you if you'd like. In transition, he's turning the ball over 32% of his transition possessions. He's turning the ball over 28% of his half-court possessions. So he's splitting it up. It's slightly better as a percentage in half-court, but it's pretty well both. So
when he has to make decisions quickly, that is when there becomes an issue. When he has to, once he beats his man in the half court, and then, okay, I got my man beat. Now what's next? Help is coming. They're about to come get me. What do I do now? And he does not. He's gotten a little bit better at, okay, slow down, keep the defender on my hip, and let things open up. But most of the time it is up. I beat my man. Help is coming. I'm just going straight to the rim, and I'm going to jump, and we'll take it from there. No real clue, no real idea what's happening. And then on fast breaks, the passes just aren't accurate. Like Tigers, many times on fast break, the ball is ending up in the stand somewhere or trickling out of bounds on the baseline somehow. Like anytime they have to make decisions quickly, specifically Alo, it ends up as a turnover.
But again, it feels like this is something that you, by this point in the season, and Alex Lomax is one of your more experienced dudes.
Played a lot last year.
As the texter points out. I mean, the other guys are freshmen, but Boogie Ellis, I have a lot more confidence in Boogie Ellis not doing something crazy. I'm not sure he's always going to make the perfect decision. I'm not sure that he's absolutely the best in that position, but he's far more likely to be able to not completely go gaga and do something just off the rails, which that we've seen that happen a lot. I mean, that play the other night again, Alo throws the ball just directly to the other team with
a weird skip pass.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I don't even know what was that. So we're kind of in unprecedented territory here when it comes to some of this stuff. Like we've never. I have to go back and look and see if I could find a way to look at the database, but I don't think there's ever been a team with two of their lead ball handlers this bad with turnovers. I don't know that's ever happened, especially at this stage of the season. When we come back, we're going to talk to Amari Sankofa. We'll talk a little bit about the Grizzlies. They're getting back in action in a couple days. They're flying out today to Sacramento to begin that 4-game road trip at the beginning of the final third of the season. So we'll talk to Amari about that and much more as we continue here on what should be a fun, hopefully not quite as rainy. Looks like it's starting to get a little
looking like a good leader outside.
Yeah, it's starting to get more leadership coming from the outside, which is nice to see. A lot more intangibles outside right there. So we'll do all that when we continue. Hour number 3 on the way from the Family Leisure Studio, Sports 56, 96, 187.7.
Do not hire Franklin & Sons Electrical. The guy told me he'd shrink my monthly bill, and I'm like, dude, it's too small to read as it is.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then he's like, where's the circuit breaker? I'm like, bro, I didn't break anything.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
He told me I had a blown fuse. It's called a short fuse, and yes, I do have one, so watch yourself.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
At Aaron's, we believe in the magic of wintertime more. That magic that comes from good people out there, always helping others, working hard, and providing for those they love, no matter what. So why are there so many stores unwilling to work with some good people? Just because your credit isn't the best doesn't mean your TV or refrigerator can't be. That's why at Aaron's, we work with you. So you can get flexible lease-to-own plans that fit your budget. Because good people always deserve better. Aaron's. Easy, beautiful, affordable.
I almost never go to Central Barbecue without running into somebody I know.
That could be because you only eat at Central Barbecue.
It's because Central Barbecue is where Memphians go to get barbecue and has consistently been voted the most popular barbecue restaurant among locals.
Actually, that's really saying something.
I know. Memphis is the nation's capital of barbecue. With all the choices, people who live here go to Central Barbecue.
They do get their share of tourists.
Sure, because Central Barbecue has been mentioned on TV and in tons of national publications. You know why?
Because of the great food?
Because those TV shows and magazines look for the place where the locals go, and that, my friend, is Central Barbecue.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
You know this ain't it.
This is not soft rock.
You know this ain't it.
I just want to make sure.
You could have made sure.
We were sitting over
We
here.
sat here just talking. We were just
during the breaks.
Well, like
CJ's stomach is rumbling. He's hungry.
No, well the thing about it, because
what?
Because I usually sit. I usually in between the breaks or when you guys are talking, I usually like sit and like listen for like several riffs in each song to make sure okay, this is soft rock or this is funk or this is you've
heard the song before, right?
Yeah.
Then you know what it sounds like. What do you need to listen to riffs for?
No, I'm just trying to make sure that it qualifies into the soft rock.
It doesn't.
What about this song did you feel led it to be soft rockish?
The beginning.
Okay.
It's the beginning part of it with the piano coming in.
No.
Okay.
Are we listening to the beginning now?
No.
Okay.
Again, Zach, if you got questions, just come ask us, man.
We're just sitting over here, you know.
What's Zach's turnover percentage on picking out songs?
Ooh, he's high. He's way down the list. You give him. We run this up-tempo offense, and we really shouldn't. We got to slow it down with Zach.
It's not even up-tempo.
We're gonna have to start running plays. We're gonna have to start giving him lists, like just running plays. You know, it's
all right.
We're gonna have to. It's grief, man. Okay, all right. Let's do our best here. Omari Sankofa joins us. Omari needs to pump it up a little bit because Zach's over here turning the ball over left and right. Doesn't know what soft rock is.
Amari hates soft rock.
Amari hates lots of things. I don't really care what Amari hates, to be honest with you. My colleague over at The Athletic, it's fine. Amari What's up, man? How are you?
What's going on, guys? The first thing I thought was, hey, Soft Rock Tuesday is a little bit more soulful this morning.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Pushing it up.
No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, Omari. That's the point. It shouldn't be more soulful. It's not the point.
Well, I approve.
I'm sure you do.
Good job, Zach.
Good
job.
Breaking rules over here. Can't be doing that. We run a system, Zach. We got plays. We're running stuff.
It's been so long, like a month maybe, 5-6 weeks since we had to correct you about soft rock. Other things, yes, soft rock, man.
We thought we were good.
No, we were good. I was trying to find different songs.
Yeah, that's your problem right there. See, you're trying to. It's out here freelancing. Well, you just
No,
run the
you
plays.
can't freelance
Just run
in
the
system,
plays,
man. Just run the plays. The plays are set up that way
we
for a reason.
Put a coaching staff together this offseason. We put this whole thing together. Just run the plays.
This isn't your first time doing it.
Have to sub some. Get Rico. Can we get Rico? Can we sub Rico in for a second? Well, that may not be a good idea.
You don't want Rico on your radio down here.
Some a quick sub. Just to all right. So, Omari, how was Chicago, my man?
Chicago was awesome. It was cold. I feel like I have to lead off to say that. I think being down in Memphis has softened me a little bit. I had to talk strong and say it wasn't that cold. It wasn't this, it wasn't that. It was okay. It was 15 degrees Thursday, and then it dipped down to, I think, 1 or 2 degrees Friday before beginning warm-up Saturday. So that was fun. But beyond that, I mean, I think the entire experience was really cool. Obviously, we had Jaren, Ja, and Brandon Clark in the Rising Stars game. And, they all, for the most part, looked like themselves. Would have been cool to see Ja get that dunk to fall at the end. But, I mean, it was just really cool experience for Grizzlies fans, I'm sure. The weekend itself is cool. I mean, you see so many famous names. There's people running about. The actual weekend itself, as far as the dunk contest and three-point shootout and everything else, was probably the strongest that we've had in several years, including the actual game, which I thought exceeded any reasonable expectations. I think kind of people were skeptical about the rule changes and ended up being cool. So overall, I thought it was a really good weekend. I would say it probably lined up pretty well with what I had always imagined All-Star Weekend would be like.
That national anthem, man. That was something special, wasn't it?
What was that?
The national anthem was something special, wasn't it?
Oh, man. I love Shaka Khan, and it seemed a little divisive. I saw people on Twitter say that this is how Shaka Khan's always sounded. Like, no, that's not. Shaka Khan doesn't always sound like that. He sounded a little bit better than that. I'm not sure what happened there, but no, that was not the best rendition of the national anthem I've heard.
Better or worse than Fergie?
It was better than Fergie because at least Shaka Khan seems to have like a direction, I guess. Like Fergie's entire, like just from start to finish, like it just wasn't good. Shaka Khan started off good, and then she just started to add a few too many notes toward the end, and she began to lose the plot a little bit.
A lot of notes, though. You got to admit that.
So many notes.
She certainly had all the notes, and then a few more.
Yeah, I know. Nobody's ever sang more notes.
That's right.
Than her,
you didn't know there were that many notes in the anthem, did you?
I did not know that there were that many notes in the anthem. She invented some notes I had never heard before.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Different keys.
She went into like H and I on some of these notes. I'm not familiar with that part of the key, but hey, there you go. So the event itself, what was the reaction, Omari, to Ja, Jaren, Brandon from the assembled international media throng? Who was? I assume Ja was probably the most popular of the group. What was the thought once people found out that you were covering the Grizzlies and from these parts? What did they have to say about the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much was all about Ja Morant during the media scrums Friday morning. I believe Ja, Trae Young, and Zion Williamson had the biggest scrums, and they were all pretty comparable. I couldn't actually even get into Ja Morant's scrum because there were so many cameras and people around that I was just too far back to even ask him a question. So I mostly just stuck with Jaren Jackson for that entire stretch because it just wasn't happening. So it all began and ended with Ja for the most part. You know, a few people asked for how their season going, this and that, but Ja's already begun to transition into that superstar symbol, and he is the most recognizable guy on the team, and he is the biggest draw of any of the three Grizzlies during the weekend.
So now it's time to get back to business, the business of playing basketball. Isn't it?
Well, no, I mean,
no, it's not.
No, I mean, no, it's right. No, it's not. I'm not saying it's not.
It's
very abrupt. Yours abrupt. I was like, damn, okay, all right. Let's get back to business. Fair enough. All right.
My fault. Did you have another All-Star game question?
I mean, I want to know if they like the new format.
Knock yourself out. You got the All-Star when you're done. Okay. Send it back to me, and we'll get back to the business of basketball.
All right, Coach. I mean, that's getting man. Okay, Omar, did you? What was the thought, the providing thought about the Elam ending and the way that everything went down during the game itself? I thought it was captivating. I mean, fantastic, excellent, and I think that we should be using this for overtimes in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of skepticism. I think a lot of rightful skepticism when they first announced that they would be ending the game that way, which was just basically first team 57 or 157 wins. But I think the issue wasn't necessarily that; it was more so that the NBA just dumped like a dozen rule changes about the event at once, and it was just sort of confusing to parse through. Especially since it was all kind of tied up into honoring Kobe Bryant. But to see it play out, I think everybody was very pleasantly surprised. The actual All-Star game has always been usually a weaker part of the actual weekend. Like, I think, more people generally look forward to the dunk contest than the actual game. And this is the most competitive game in, I mean, I don't even know since when. It seems like the game has just been getting a little bit worse every single year. And then this year, it felt like actual basketball. Guys actually cared. Guys were fouling, arguing with refs. I don't know how far back you would have to go to find a game that had the energy at the end that this game had. So I think everybody loved it. Yeah, I mean, I think this was universally accepted by everybody who watched. And it should absolutely be the format going forward. Maybe you can tweak a couple of rules to make it so that you have to win with a jump shot or something along the lines of that. But there's a lot of potential here too. I hadn't even thought about incorporating this to the actual regular season, but then there'd be a argument for that as well.
Now, feel free. Now
we're going to business.
That's fine. Now you can get back to the business of basketball.
Before we get to the business of basketball, Amari, one more All-Star game question.
Whoa. What are we doing here?
Did you like the fact that some of these kids were left destitute because their team didn't win quarters?
Well, yeah, that was the.
That's the best part to you, Amari.
No, I heard that the NBA basically had a sort of like a wink deal, like we're going to take care of both sides, but just for the sake of this being good TV, we're going to have it play out as though there's actual stakes on the line. But I think having the kids on the sideline and invested in the outcome kind of added to the excitement as well. It added to the feeling that there were real stakes involved in this, and it wasn't just athletes playing for their pride. So I thought that was a perfect twist, and the NBA should continue that part of it as well. Although I'm sure by this time next year, most people will realize that both charities are being taken care of, like the thousands of dollars earned on the line for this charity because LeBron put up from half court, to try and win the game. The NBA isn't quite that heartless, so I'm sure that's something that they'll continue for next year as well.
I was happy to see that Giannis gave $100,000 to the team, an extra $100,000 to the team that lost. So they got a little bit of money. Anyway, the charity, they didn't make the full 300. But no, it's nice. It's better. Something is better than nothing. So that's always, that's good. I'm glad they got $100,000. I'm glad the other charity got more. But come on. Why can't we even this thing out? And then we have to, we show the kids down there like it's the Final Four and they're the student section cheering, except that, the relevance of their charity is on the line. Like, you're talking about funding, key, outreach programs, things like that. When you kind of take that, instead of just, if you think about it for just a little while, it kind of becomes a little...
Is the community going to be open? Is the
dystopian,
community center going to be open after school? This is for my after school activity right here.
I don't need missing this free throw means that we're going to fire Miss Joni who works at the community center who helps these kids. We can't afford to pay her. What? No.
There's a difference in the good crayons and the bad ones. The Crayolas and the crayons.
And let me tell you, there's a difference.
Yes,
the Crayolas and the whatever the off-brand crayon. And then sometimes the off-brand is fine. But not in crayons. No, I completely agree with that. Let's get back to the business of basketball. CJ's favorite phrase here with talking to Amari Sankofa, my colleague over at The Athletic covering the Grizzlies. The business of basketball is at hand. The Grizzlies open up that business with a 4-game road trip. They're flying out today to Sacramento to start it there. They'll start on Thursday. They start with a good-sized lead in the playoff race, but they are facing the most challenging schedule of any of the remaining teams. In fact, any NBA team, period, that left in the entire league, their schedule is the hardest by winning percentage. Does it feel to you, Omari, like this thing's going to come down to the last little bit? Have the Grizzlies opened up enough of a lead where they've got enough cushion to comfortably make the playoffs, or is this thing going to be tight all the way down to the stretch?
I can definitely see it getting tight down the stretch. I believe they have a 4-game lead for that 8th spot right now, and that's a pretty good cushion. I think that's the type of cushion that they're going to need or would have needed to hold on to this thing. As you mentioned, they have a harder schedule going down the stretch. The Pelicans have improved significantly over the last month and a half, 2 months. The Trailblazers have improved over the last month or so. Those teams, and I think the Pelicans will have a much greater gap to close, but those teams are going to come out of the All-Star break more than likely playing some really good basketball. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies open with a road back-to-back, the Sacramento on Thursday and the Lakers on Friday, and then you have the Clippers in Houston. Then you come home and you have more tough games, and they're actually going to be on the road more than they're going to be at home, during the last third of the season or so. So it's pretty unideal. You kind of wonder if this team, which has exceeded expectations for the majority of the season, that's also the youngest team in the league, can kind of just maintain that level of play after an extended layoff. So it's going to be tough for them. I think they still get the 8th seed just because even if they regress back to the mean somewhat, I think we can give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that their mean is going to be much higher than what it was back in November. They could go 500 down the stretch, which I think is not as good as them winning 15 and 19, but also, that might be enough for them to hang on. You go 500 down the stretch for 20 and 26 now, you end up with around 42, 43 wins. I think that would be wonderful. That might be enough to hold on to it. So. They're going to have to win some games that they're going to be the underdog in, and they really can't afford to be step-ups against the teams that they should beat either. So it's certainly a thin margin for error.
Do you think there's any chance that they can actually move up and catch either Dallas or Oklahoma City? That's the team in front of them. Yeah, Dallas, Oklahoma City, they're 4.5 games back of both of them.
No, I think at this point they've considered a pretty good separation from the bottom 7 of the conference, or however it may be. Oklahoma City, of course, they surpassed all expectations this season. It's hard to see them having too much of a drop-off after. And then Dallas, they kind of stepped up a bit going into the break, but they didn't have Luka. And once they get Luka back, and, I think Luka's healthy, given that he played the All-Star game and the Rising Stars Challenge, then, that should put that back to where they were before his injury. So those teams, I think, are pretty firmly in the 6 and 7 at this point. The Grizzlies just have to make sure that, they stay in 8. That's a significant gap for them to be able to go from 8 to 7. They need some help either by an injury or something similar.
Do you think the recent slump from Dillon Brooks, does he shake out of that coming out of the All-Star break? Is that related at all to his extension? It seems like since he signed that money, It has been a little rough for old Dylan since he's got that extension done. He was always on a bit of a hot streak that was probably unsustainable, but in his last 5 games, he's shooting 32% from the field, 22% from 3, averaging just 11 points per game. That's not great. Is this just a temporary blip, or was his year to this point just unsustainable, and it's going to be a little bit of a hard fall?
It's probably just a blip. I think it was probably unrealistic for him to continue to shoot the ball as well as he did before, where he was hitting like 44% of his threes, pretty high volume. I think the way that Dylan plays is just going to cause him to have slumps every now and then. Like, it's hard to play the way he plays every single night and shoot a good clip every single night. So I would assume that he would refine his rhythm. His rhythm may not look as good as it did before he got hurt, but at the same time, he's a much better player than how his last 5 games has been. And he's even acknowledged to me, I think it was either after the Sixers loss or maybe a game after that, when he mentioned that he had been struggling the last few games, and he knew that wasn't him. I'm sure when you sign a contract that includes a life-changing sum of money, that can kind of throw you off mentally a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I signed a $35 million contract, I'm sure my head would just sort of be in a fog for a while. I mean, that's an absurd amount of money. So certainly understandable on his part. Maybe over the break he had time to do whatever Dylan Brooks would do with $35 million. He actually mentioned to me that he wants to buy a house, so maybe he went on and did that, and hopefully for the Grizzlies they'll have him back to where he was before he signed the extension when they played later on this week.
Any word on Justice Winslow when he might be set to join the team, basketball drills and what have you?
Yeah, so the word, I think me and Peter both heard that the Grizzlies want him to return sometime after All-Star Weekend, which, of course, would put him in play to return sometime during this Western Conference road trip. Whether that happens, I guess, remains to be seen. The Grizzlies may decide, hey, we want to wait till, he can play at home and make his debut at home, which I think would be reasonable. We'll just have to see, but the odds seem somewhat likely that he will be back before March.
Yeah, it would be nice to see that. I think they were once they got a look at him, it seemed that they were a little more optimistic about his recovery. They'd kind of gotten obviously info from Miami. Miami's pretty forthright. Most teams are about what they can tell you, legally and within the scope of the collective bargaining agreement, but they can't tell you everything until you actually get the player and can put him through a physical and see for yourself. I think once they put him through the physical, they were probably a little more optimistic, just a little bit, about what happens. And I think also, Amari, it's something that I know that we talked to Zach Kleiman about in the front office, but also just in general with the Grizzlies as a group. They have really invested a lot over the last year plus, and particularly this summer, in building out some aspects of their front office and their whole organization. A lot of it is data-driven analytics stuff, but they've also spent a fair bit in data on the medical side, and they've built out their medical department. They've spent a fair bit on that, and I do think the early signs. I mean, it's obviously hard to know for sure because there's just not a ton of cases, but John Morant, it's easy to forget he had knee surgery over the summer, and there was some question about how durable would he be. Well, so far so good on that score. Kyle Anderson's shoulder has been surprisingly effective, and he's been able to play, even though it looked like early on after media day back in September, we were wondering if he was ever going to play this season, and he's played pretty much every game at this point. Same thing with DeAnthony Melton, who had a back issue going into preseason, and that was resolved pretty easily and without too much difficulty, kind of similar to what Justice Winslow is dealing with. So it seems to me that, whether it's just circumstantial or whether there's more to it, I know that at least medically speaking, it seems the Grizzlies are having a better run of it than in years past, and that probably helps when it comes to the Winslow stuff too.
For sure. team has a pretty good track record with injuries so far. Like this time last year, Kyle Anderson, had a season shut down because of the shoulder injury that he had thoracic outlet surgery for. And he was saying at media day and early in the season, during preseason, that he felt like he was going to miss some games. He wasn't all the way there. He was like 80%. It was still going to be an extended recovery process. And he's been healthy all season. He really hasn't had any setbacks that we know of. He really hasn't expressed any discomfort. That's been a huge success for this front office. So I think cases like that certainly give you some optimism that this Justice Winslow situation would not be an extended problem. I think it also helps that Justice Winslow has already missed about 2 months, a little bit more than 2 months of action actually, before he came to the Grizzlies. So his recovery process had already been underway for 2 months before the Grizzlies made that trade. So as far as the evaluations of him and everything else, certainly different from a guy who had some sort of surgery or whatever it may be. Justice Winslow had a bone bruise in his back. And as far as I can tell, he didn't need any surgery for it. It was treated in other ways. So certainly you can give the Grizzlies the benefit of the doubt here and trust that he'll be back before the season ends.
Well, we'll find out, Omari, as you get back to the business of basketball.
Business of basketball, everybody. Getting back to it.
CJ's new album, we call
it
The Business of Basketball.
The Business of Basketball.
Looking forward to it. Omari, we'll talk again soon, bud. Glad to have you back from Chicago.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Omari.
Omari Sankofa. Texter says Omari needs to come off some more money and get some better phone.
That's just Omari's voice, man.
That's just Omari's voice, man.
We're trying to tell you guys.
Omari's just got that smooth tone.
Super deep.
Deep and smooth.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you can delay. And I've seen Omari's got a good phone. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's a nice phone. He's not running around here with some, 10-year-old refurb. No, this is
not a sidekick.
This is a real deal Holyfield phone right there. All right, when we come back, I got a couple of interesting stories to get to.
About the business of
this is some business, all right. It's
okay.
a different sort of business.
Oh, I like the business of the different sorts of business.
It's a very different sort of business you may be familiar with.
Okay.
We'll do that when we return to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter and CJ. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkheimer for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about a new or used car truck and not sure where to get the most for your money? Listen to what Sunrise has to offer. Over 1,000 new Buicks and GMCs to choose from with factory rebates up to $6,500 and Sunrise discounts high as $10,000. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, it's okay at Sunrise. We specialize in secondary financing, and if you've got a job, you're approved at Sunrise. The #1 volume Buick GMC dealer in the Mid-South and home of the guaranteed credit approval. SunriseMemphis.com, Covington, Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
I was just looking at Central Barbecue's website, eatcbq.com, and in their catering section, it says that there is no maximum amount of people that they can serve at an event.
So?
Somebody should test this.
Test what?
They say they can literally cater any amount of people.
Yeah, I'm sure they can. Central Barbecue's catering is a machine. I've used them dozens of times.
But have you ever tried to use them for a really big event?
Yes.
No, I mean a really big event.
Like what?
I'm thinking some fat cat rich guy should feed an entire Grizzlies game Central Barbecue.
Fat cat? Did you just come here from the 1920s?
I'm just saying somebody should really put Central Barbecue to the test.
You do realize you work for Central Barbecue.
Do not hire Franklin & Sons Electrical. The guy told me he'd shrink my monthly bill, and I'm like, dude, it's too small to read as it is.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then he's like, where's the circuit breaker? I'm like, bro, I didn't break anything.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
He told me I had a blown fuse. It's called a short fuse, and yes, I do have one, so watch yourself.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating over 35 years of serving the Mid-South by giving a big thank you to you, their loyal customers. You can come in, relax, watch your favorite games, and enjoy hand-cut steaks along with a premium bar. Sunday and Monday nights from 5 until 8:30, you can get select entrees for $25. That includes a salad, baked potato, and bread, and you don't have to pick one, you get all three. Some of those entrees are 10-ounce New York strip steak, slow-roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, marinated grilled chicken breast, grilled boneless pork chops, and crab stuffed shrimp. Plus, all appetizers and desserts are 20% off. Don't forget, Hamburger Friday every Friday from 11 to 2. It's the best. The Butcher Shop, always a Memphis tradition. Call 901-757-4244, 901-757-4244 for more information, or just stop in at 107 South Germantown Parkway in Cordova.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's what we're talking about right there. That's better. Get back to running the plays. Just keep it basic. Let's not, don't start freelancing out here. You ran a good play. That was a good set out of the timeout.
Real good. You're a special player, man. When you just
that's right.
Just run the sets.
You just run. You run that stuff. You run it great.
Run the sets. That's why they're set up that way.
You're a conductor, right?
Right.
Do you want like your brass just deciding they want to play a different song? You want your brass just to kind of go out there? Oh, I'm gonna play a little something else here. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit over here. See if that sounds good.
No.
And you got your woodwinds over here saying, I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. No, you got run the plays. Do what's on the sheet. You got the sheet of music. Play that.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Right.
Well, here's the tempo. Let me give it a little tempo. Yep. There we go. Right.
Right.
This man out here freelancing. He should know more than any of us. He should know.
Yes.
He's literally a conductor. Unbelievable.
Don't freelance soft rock.
You know what else is unbelievable?
Who?
Tough break. The Royal Family website.
The who?
The British Royal Family has a website. Which I'm sure you know all about. Royal.uk.
Okay.
Which opens with a photo of a smiling Queen Elizabeth II next to husband Prince Philip, proudly declaring itself the home of the royal family. And, of course, that's always fun, right? It links to charities getting royal support and approval.
Okay.
Unfortunately, one link for a charity patronized by Prince Harry took users to a Chinese porn site. So that was, as the New York Post puts it, not the crown jewels they were looking for.
Yes.
There was a Welsh charity that apparently had the same name somehow as a site. That so they click through it and thinking, hey, I'm on the Royal Family website. What's this charity? That's the kind of charity we're supporting here.
All right. Get down with that.
So
they ran Meghan away
for
these shenanigans to pop off. God bless the Queen.
I mean,
and the Prince. And that website that they sent out there for the people.
Yeah.
Was it just videos or pictures also? Did you have to click the I'm over 18? Or did you not? What's
You want to go check it out?
I'm saying you got it pulled up, don't you?
What, the site? No.
Oh.
I have it pulled up.
Well, pull it up.
I have the story pulled up.
Pull up the site.
No.
Did they hyperlink the site in the story?
No.
Oh.
Who's going to hyperlink the Chinese porn site in your newspaper? What are you doing? You crazy?
I mean, it's something that the reader might find interesting.
I'm sure they'd find it very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of those royal family watchers found it very interesting. Poor Queen Queen's in her 90s. She doesn't need to be seeing that.
Got a bunch of sexual
Let me
delinquents.
look and see what's on our website. Oh, my stars. Fall out. She's faint. Poor lady. Jeez Louise.
She's got to be thinking, come on, guys. We got this Epstein nonsense. Now y'all are just sending out links to God knows where. Can we fix this?
Exactly what she was thinking.
So on and so forth.
I mean, I think that was her thoughts. Now, another story.
Oh, there's more?
Well, this is not. It's another slip up involving a European individual.
Okay.
It's not exactly related, but it's kind of related. Some awkwardness, perhaps.
Okay.
Some situations. We've got the soccer season's coming up here pretty soon. Memphis 91 FC starts March 7th. Their season opens against Indy 11 down at AutoZone Park. And you got the MLS season starting very soon as well. FC Cincinnati, the Cincinnati team, their coach Ron Jans is stepping away from the team after being accused of using the N-word in a team meeting.
It's not funny.
He is Dutch. And,
what?
And he was singing along with music being played in the locker room.
Oh, okay, of course. All right,
And,
clearly it's the music's fault. Okay.
And he, singing along. He's a 61-year-old Dutch man, and was singing along with some music being played in the locker room, and he threw out the N-word in the middle of the song. We've talked about this before. You can't, even though you may know the rapping and all that stuff, you can't you don't be saying it during the song.
What was the song?
We don't know. I have not been able to find that information out.
Real N-word roll call. Shame on the N-word. Ain't no N-word. Like, there are songs out there.
Can I borrow a sandwich? For example.
Is the N-word going to give it back?
So apparently a player took him aside to say that was unacceptable in America. Now, this also was also in light of a separate incident that happened a few months ago. Apparently, it's a complaint that was filed in the Players Association. Some players filed a complaint against Jans because they said he made inappropriate comments about slavery before the October 6th game against DC United. In that case, he said that it was after he spent time at the nation's memorials and was meant to inspire the team to overcome adversity.
Huh? What?
He apparently spent some time at the nation's memorials because they were in D.C. against D.C. United.
Yeah, okay.
So he went to maybe the African American Museum, the Smithsonian there. Maybe he went to, some other national museums of some sort, perhaps, and was inspired to help the team overcome adversity by somehow talking about slavery.
Huh? Yeah, guy got to go. What's going on with this dude?
He's Dutch.
My dude over here wilding, man.
He's Dutch, man.
What does that mean?
The Dutch, they're crazy. I have no idea.
Are they?
I don't even know.
That is not the adjective I use to describe the Dutch.
I have no idea I don't know what that speech could have sounded like. I don't even know what that would even entail exactly. I don't.
That's a shame we're on radio. This could get real interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Again, just as a reminder to everybody out there, good. This is a good learning situation maybe for some folks out there. The proper time for a white person, be they Dutch or any other, or really any non-black person. But I'm speaking to Ron Jans here specifically here. The proper time to say the N-word is never, under any circumstances. Is that fair to say?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
If the song that you're singing, and it doesn't mean you can't enjoy songs that contain that word, it just means that you should take a powder from saying it. Just kind of back off, maybe.
Player, brother, hater.
And plenty of different substitute words that have the same meaning.
Anything with an A or AH at the end of it, you got
to put an H on it.
Gotta put H on it.
So is there's no circumstance, right, where that would be appropriate?
No.
Under any, no matter how well-meaning you may be.
Shame on a player that tries to run game on a player. Like, see, I just did it right there.
It was easy.
There, not hard.
No matter how many black friends you may have.
Or think you may have.
Because that number may not be as many as you think.
No matter how many racist bones that you do not have in your body.
Not a one of them. Nobody's got a racist bone in their body.
No.
Nobody.
No.
Bones are not racist. They're just bones. Brains are not bones. Tongues are not bones. Whoa, thank you.
Okay.
What was I don't know where that came from, but all right, I'll take it. So, yeah. Again, just fun facts for coaches of teams that contain, whether you really contain black players or not, but especially if you do, using the N-word, never. Talking about slavery as a motivating factor, also never.
I don't compare people's struggles.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm about to do that right here.
Okay.
You wouldn't compare the Holocaust to soccer, like overcoming adversity.
No.
You wouldn't say, hey, these people went through
That
this.
would trivialize the whole thing to a ludicrous degree.
So you don't do it with slavery either.
Again, that's just these.
I would think it would make sense.
Seems
like something that shouldn't have to be said.
Should not have to be said, and yet here we are, yet again.
and beautiful thing about this, we'll be back here in what?
I'm sure
month and a half?
A few weeks? No problem. So
like 3 weeks from now, we'll be right back here with somebody else doing something similar to this.
We're trying to help people not get into this trouble. You know what I mean?
Yes.
These are avoidable mistakes.
Very much.
These are turnovers. These are not turnovers you need to have. You don't have to have this.
This is just you bouncing the ball off your foot for no reason.
You just walking. This is you just not dribbling. Like just no dribble. This is just dumb stuff. Like you can slow down your offense. Slow it down for a second. Slow down that offense. Think about should I? Do I really need to say this? Do I need to? Is it a need? Do I need to say it? Could I just not say it?
Yes.
Is that an option?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So I don't have to. Not contractually obligated to say.
No, you're not.
So here's the thing. So I had to go through that roster for a second, because you said that while they were in DC, he was giving them a
pep talk about overcoming adversity, much like I guess black people overcame slavery. I don't know.
We don't know. We just know that he referenced slavery in a way that players found unacceptable. And issued a complaint about it. Now, what that could be, again, I have plenty of theories about what that might be.
I've got some also,
but I don't. Without knowing for sure, we can't say the absolute certain what that pep talk would have sounded like. I bet it was great.
Almost half his roster is like people of color.
Yeah.
Like
not good.
Huh?
They clearly, I feel like they enjoy this guy to a certain degree, and that's why somebody. In high school, I was a captain. I was nominated to pull a coach to the side and have a conversation with him about how we were accustomed to doing things. And so they clearly liked this dude to some extent, because in the article you said like somebody went and pulled him to the side. Hey, coach, let me talk to you. Like, you can't be doing this. And he still went about doing it. Like after the one-on-one. Hey, just so you know, I know you're from someplace else, but over here, we can't have you just like saying that in your Dutch accent. Like it can't. No, we can't have you doing that. This is against our rules and our customs. Please don't do it anymore. This is us letting you know now.
The thing about the slavery stuff, that wasn't great.
No.
Let's just be honest with you.
No.
Well, just so you know, they played DC United, and it was a 0-0 tie with two of the players from FC Cincinnati getting red cards and sent off. Both of them were black, so I don't know if that means anything to do with anything. I don't know. I
was going to ask you if they were playing like a bunch of thugs, man, or slugs.
More sluggish.
More sluggish? Okay.
Yeah, more sluggish than anything else.
Why?
I don't know. The inspiration of the slavery thing did not seem to translate over.
Oh, it probably translated. It probably translated.
Well, maybe not the way that he intended for that pep talk to translate. So good coaching, good teachable moments here for everybody.
Yes.
There's got to be a better way to make your point. And you also, again, just a reminder, unless you're black, don't use the N-word.
Please. Simple.
Ever. I mean, like ever. There's no, that's it. No. That's all. You're good. Remember that. It's super easy. Real easy rule. Like, there's nothing complicated about it. Thumbs up. We're all good? Everybody good? Good talk,
yes.
everybody. All right.
Great job.
1, 2, 3. Let's go. Let's go.
Go team on 3.
That's right. Go team. That's right. That's right. We're gonna take care of all of that. When we return, give you an update on the way the draft is shaking out. A new mock draft coming from our buddy Jonathan Gavoni. It's gonna make you feel good if you're a Grizzly fan that you're not likely to be in this draft. I would imagine. We'll discuss that and more when we continue in the Family Leisure Studios. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat every afternoon for Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 FM and 87.7 FM.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
First Bank is here to help you, whether you're a business looking for a loan to expand or refinance an existing one, a homeowner looking for a mortgage or home equity line, a consumer wanting to finance your dream car, or wanting a competitive rate on your CD deposits. Let First Bank try to handle your banking needs. Stop into one of First Bank's 3 local branches today, 6482 Poplar Avenue just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland, or check them out online at firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Make your day smoking with the Big Green Egg. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ceramic never rusts, and the easy, accurate temperature control gives you the greatest range of any grill. Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Available at these nearby locations: Hamilton Fireplace Shop, 4462 Summer Avenue; Germantown Hardware Company, 2083 South Germantown Road; Garden Spas and Pool, 9393 Poplar Avenue; and East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2020 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2020 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
Due to an upturn in the economy, Main Street Business Loans has pre-approved the release of millions of dollars in small business funding. Your business may already be pre-approved to receive up to $250,000. We've sent out millions of pre-approval letters. We see the economy growing, and our underwriters believe now is the time to invest in your business so you can grow faster and make more money. And we're prepared to give you up to $250,000 to do it. Your funds can be available in 5 days. There are no application fees, no annual fees, just quick access to up to $250,000. If your business did not receive your approval letter to get up to $250,000, call Main Street Business Loans Approval Desk now.
800-509-2163, 800-509-2163, 800-509-2163, 800-509-2163.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hertz. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
I'm on the run, no time to sleep. I've got to ride like the wind to be free again.
Did you not see my request, Zach?
Nope.
I did, but I didn't.
But I didn't care. Is what he's gonna say.
No, it was. I didn't know. It didn't sound soft rock to me. That was the thing. I wasn't sure.
If ever I'm in your arms again, is straight up soft rock from Peebo.
You guys see what I'm working with? Help!
Peebo. Peebo is soft rock through and through. If ever you're in
Or maybe there was another Peebo that I was looking
What,
at.
Peebo Jones?
I don't
How many Peebos are there?
I've never
How
heard
many
of
Peebos are we making? I was pretty sure that was a limited edition model. I thought we weren't making a whole lot of Peebos.
How many what Peebo do you think? Oh my Lord, what is happening right now? Zach, here we go. I'll give you some Peebo.
Thank you, man.
He's not gonna do it.
I appreciate you, Peter.
Now, you think this is not soft rock? You hear this? Come on, this is soft rock through and through.
Zach.
Yeah, that was a different Peebo. That was
a different Peebo.
How many Peebos are there? How many Peebo musicians are there in this world?
All right, I'm just gonna leave that right
There
here.
is a Peebo Bryson.
This is Peebo Bryson. There's only one Peebo.
Hold on. That wasn't.
What is going on right now? This is a guy, Peebo Bryson is the guy who I thought I put up on the screen.
There's how many?
It's my fault. It's my fault because I didn't put the last name. I just said Peebo.
Thus, listen, there's no. If you don't know Peebo as a one-name superstar, good Lord. Texter says,
I think Zach just looked and said, this person.
Turned it over.
Yeah, this person looks like an athlete, probably not a soft rocker. That's a lot. That's a lot of sneaky athletes out there in soft rock.
Texter says, I agree with you, Peter, on the saying the N-word thing. How do you think white people and black people feel when a white person has to say it on a movie set? It's in the script, so I'm sure there's a lot of that kind of. I'm sure there's a discussion. You have to kind of have a little setup, a little discussion on set. When it's in the course of a dramatic reading, then I think everyone's kind of on board with the idea that you're doing this. It's like if you're playing a vile racist in a movie or something, and you say it like you're not saying it yourself. You're saying it in character. You do lots of things. I mean, it's like when you quote unquote murder someone you're not really doing it. So you're not really saying, but I'm sure there has to be some, discussions and ground rules and all that.
Yeah.
So people can be in the right space.
A couple of those movies with that character in it.
Mm-hmm. Like your Tarantino type things are kind of.
Rosewood, I remember when that came out, it was a big deal. And the people on set, everything Emmy wants to say was Oprah. It had to be Oprah. Mm-hmm. Went on Oprah, and she was like, okay, how did y'all deal with it, like offset? Like, how did you deal with all of the racial implications of that movie offset? And it's like, man, it was hard. It was days where we kind of just left and was just like, yo, I as a white person, I need to like decompress everything that happened. As a black person, I need to step away because I'm really upset, not at you in particular, but the character that is based off a real life person that you happen to be portraying. It's hard. It is.
You're asking a lot for sure. Not easy at all, but it's a good point. I mentioned the new mock draft out from Draft Express. Number one pick,
James Wiseman.
Nope.
Anthony Edwards.
Okay. James Wiseman 2 to Golden State. I think that would be a nice place for Wiseman to end up. Isaac Okoro, third from Auburn. LaMelo Ball, fourth to the Knicks. Denny Avdija. I've only seen it written. I've never heard it. So
I've never seen it heard either.
He is the 6'9" guard from Maccabi Tel Aviv, Israeli guard. A lot of people really like his game. Fifth, Tyrese Maxey. Okongwu from USC, 7th, and Tyrese Halliburton out for the season. Iowa State guard at 8th. Obi Toppin, 9th. Nico Mannion. A lot of people think of him as a little bit of a sleeper. 10, Cole Anthony. 11, Killian Hayes. You want to shoot for the stars. Killian Hayes could be a buy low guy. RJ Hampton all the way down to 13 after he's wrapped up his season in New Zealand early. Then the pick that the Grizzlies would have given up, Theo Maledon, right now is who that would be, Boston's pick. So Theo Maledon.
Hmm.
You know who that is?
No.
Okay.
Do you?
Not really.
Is he over here playing?
No.
Okay.
Precious Achiuwa 19th.
Oh wow.
To the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay.
I think there's going to be something there with Precious. And going down, there's a few notable names. If you want the Grizzlies' second round projection, and why wouldn't you? Paul Reed from DePaul.
Okay.
DePaul Reed, we like to call him. Does anyone like to call him that name?
No.
No one likes to call
Nobody
him.
calls him DePaul Reed.
Nobody calls him that. Nor should they. That is that's the pick that Memphis would get from Phoenix. Grizzlies have traded their pick this year. The second round pick is already gone to Chicago. Chicago would take, according to this, Trendon Watford, the one-time Tiger target, leaving early. So you could see like the class. It's not exactly an overwhelming group. It's not last year. Last year at this time, we pretty much thought it was Zion and everyone else, and then John Morant sort of emerged late in the process, probably around, certainly around the tournament when he threw up a triple-double in the NCAA tournament. Everyone said, "Okay, all right, this guy's pretty good." But it was at that point a two-player draft, and so it has turned out to be. It has pretty much turned out to be a two-player draft with respect to Brandon Clark, who's having a really spectacular season. But Clark is more of a specialist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he's a really good specialist, but he's definitely a specialist type player. So that would be the situation there. And then in this year's draft upcoming, I don't know that you have anyone that would be taken top. I mean, probably 5. I mean, I'm sure Edwards, I guess, would he go ahead of R.J. Barrett? I don't think so. Wiseman, maybe. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people are not sold on Wiseman. So it's not a good group. It's a good group for the Grizzlies to go ahead and convey the pick. That's really what the lesson of this one is. Convey.
Oh, we need a little convey, yo.
And if you don't convey, you end up with a top 4 pick. So that's okay, I guess. But like, it's not even that good of a group to finish with a top 4 pick, honestly. Little convey, yo. Hope he's doing well. I mean, David Cobb will check back in with him very soon. What's coming up next on Middays?
Coming up on Middays, UT Vols AD Philip Fulmer will join the program.
I love hearing from Phil.
Also, former Tiger great Antonio Anderson will join as well, along with Steve Macy, Don Wade, and then they'll have 2.5 questions.
Busy show coming up. Everybody enjoy that. Everybody have a great and hopefully dry Tuesday as best that you can here. We'll talk soon.
Unless you want it moist.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40